upgrade their master bath and kitchen. They locked in a new APR in the twos and lowered their total monthly bills by hundreds of dollars. Hello? What are you waiting on? Call Loan Pronto now and convert your home value into cash. Put that money to good use. Do it now, and you could even skip your next 2 house payments. Call 615-499-5780 or loanpronto.com. 615-499-5780 or lowpronto.com. Equal housing lender. NMLS 166-1781. Subject to lender approval. Not all loans apply.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ziprecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate through the site within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free. Just go to this exclusive web address, ziprecruiter.com/free. That's ziprecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
From the Hillside Medical Game Studios, WPRT FM Pegram, WPUC HD2 Laverne.
Good morning!
Morning!
Robbie and Rex Road mornings from 6 to 10.
It's not bad. Might have to work on that. It's not bad. It's a starting point.
ESPN.
1025 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
A Cromwell Media Station.
Live from the Game Nashville studios, it's Stillman and Company. Delivered by TriStar Moving. TriStar Movers with 5-star service. With Jared Stillman on Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN.
1025 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Stillman and Company is delivered by TriStar Moving, ESPN 1025 The Game, streaming live Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook Live. Thanks to the law offices of Amanda Gentry. Caroline Fenton is here today. Hello, Caroline.
Hello, how we doing?
Absolutely fantastic. Live from the Hillside Medical Game Studios. Ian Safari is here today. How are you, Ian?
What up, what up?
So, we went a little viral yesterday.
We did.
So we, what is it, 250,000 views now on Twitter from our 2 o'clock segment yesterday. Pro Football Talk saying the Aaron Rodgers gossip du jour, which is exactly what it was.
And it's exactly what we called it.
Pure, authentic, honest, truthful, hard-hitting, journalistic.
Is it?
Gossip.
Gossip.
That's what it was.
That's what it was.
That's what it was. And multiple people have confirmed, including our friends at A to Z Sports and Buck Rising, have confirmed that isn't that multiple Green Bay Packer teammates think there's no chance that he goes back to Green Bay. So we know the story. We talked about it all day yesterday. So I was thinking about this today. Before that news, was anybody talking about the Packers for Aaron Rodgers and, like, meaning it with a little bit of seriousness?
I wouldn't say as much as it is now, because I think that his desire to leave Green Bay hasn't been any sort of new news.
Sure.
So, yes, it was always in the conversation. Will Aaron return? Will he be in Green Bay? But all of the conversation has more been on Tom Brady, Russell Wilson. Who will the Bucs fill their quarterback spot with? So not really anything fresh with Aaron Rodgers.
Plus, when you talk to people, it feels like everybody thinks Aaron's going to go to Denver.
Yeah.
And he might go to Denver. I don't know. I don't know.
That's been the most chatter about Aaron Rodgers.
I'm not reporting where Aaron's going to go. I'm just telling you what I know. But I was thinking about this. How did we get on Denver? How did Denver become the team that everybody... Remember last year people were speculating Denver for Aaron.
Nathaniel Hackett this year.
Okay, but that's
new this year.
That happened last week.
But that is justifiable.
But I feel like, it's been a while on this Denver thing, and so I looked back at it. Remember when the Aaron Rodgers news broke last year, which was right on the day of the draft? Adam Schefter reported it. Rodgers wanted out of Green Bay and was threatening retirement or whatever. And so Rodgers puts it out there on the draft, which... If you know Rodgers, and none of us do, but if you know the public persona of Rodgers, you know that he is seriously one of the most vindictive quarterbacks probably in the history of the NFL. And so he felt disrespected last year during the draft when they drafted Jordan Love. So now he disrespects Green Bay. And I think it was Mark Schlereth who opined on his Denver radio show that Green Bay would have interest in Aaron, or it was something like that, and all of a sudden Denver became the spot everybody was talking about for Aaron. Why am I saying all of this? Because the one thing I do wonder about sports is, could yesterday have been the light bulb moment for the Titans? Could it have been the light bulb moment for Aaron, where before he had reportedly been open to joining the Titans, that now maybe it's a little bit more real? You know, everybody in his orbit is talking to him about this. And the fact that he hasn't killed any of it probably tells you that it's 100% accurate. The second thing is, the Titans are hearing this too. You know the Titans are hearing this. You know that it's already funneled all the way through. You know that Vrabel is out there at the Pro Bowl. He's heard it. Robinson is in Mobile at the Senior Bowl. He's heard it. Even the ownership, they've probably heard it now. The fact that, hey, did you know Aaron Rodgers would be open to the Titans? And if you own the Titans and you heard that Aaron was open, reportedly, to the idea of joining the Titans, wouldn't you think, hey, maybe we need to investigate this?
I would.
So do we think that this moves the needle at all a little bit for the Titans and for Aaron and for a possibility? Because all I've ever heard is I've just heard people say, there's no way, no how, no if, no what. And I'm not reporting that there is. But I do know that a lot of these like big time, wow, can you believe it moves, normally start off the first time you hear about it. You're like, what? Bill Parcells to go coach the Cowboys? What? And then all of a sudden it's, oh, no. Bill Parcells is going to be the next coach of the Cowboys. Just like Urban Meyer's going to be the coach at Jacksonville? Yes, Urban Meyer's the coach at Jacksonville. So these things like happen, and it takes a little bit of time, and it builds up, and so I do wonder if yesterday was that moment. And I'll give you an example of a story that Mike Piazza, it was a random story, but I'll explain this. Mike Piazza was with I believe he was with the Marlins at the time. He went from the Dodgers to the Marlins to the Mets. And the Marlins were going to trade Piazza. And Piazza, this is according to Mike and the Mad Dog, the legendary afternoon show in New York City. And the agent for Piazza calls Mike and the Mad Dog and says they're going to trade Piazza to the Cubs. Piazza wants no part of the Cubs. Piazza wants to go to New York. You guys got to rile it up to get Piazza to go to New York. So they have the general manager from the Mets on, Steve Phillips, and they say, is there any way that Piazza could go? And he says, absolutely no way Piazza could be a Met. Not possible. So then Mike and the Mad Dog start yelling and screaming about Mike Piazza and how the Mets need to bring in Piazza, and the callers start calling, and the owner of the team was driving to the stadium listening to Mike and the Mad Dog, picks up the phone, calls the general manager, and says, we need Piazza. And then Piazza was a Met. And I'm not saying that this is going to happen with that, but I'm using that story to illustrate how sometimes the talk, the public, the fact that now it's obviously been made, Aaron's been made aware of this story. The Titans have clearly been made aware that at least on some level or another, there's interest from Aaron Rodgers coming here. And I know everybody's going to tell you, including our midday show, because I heard them, that it's impossible. There's no way. There's no how. I know this. If I owned the Titans, I would be on the phone with John Robinson saying, what would it take to go get Aaron Rodgers? So do you think that this kind of discussion sparks an action with Aaron? Or are you like our midday show and a lot of the people that cover the team that are just noses in the air? No way, no how that Aaron Rodgers could ever be a Titan.
Well, for me personally, are you saying for me or if I am in the Titans front office?
No. For you personally.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Because at this point, I said I'll entertain anything. And of course, what we said yesterday was it's really just gossip. And, yes, the dots connect, but it doesn't necessarily equal Titans quarterback for next season.
Sure.
But it's worth looking into, especially because this team could be in the market for a new quarterback, and that quarterback is in the market for a new team. And I would have to think that he's in the market for a team that is poised to win right now.
He's already been in the market for a new house.
Yeah, he's building one. Yeah, he's already off one market.
Literally in the market.
Yeah,
Like,
quite literally in the
market.
housing market. So, while it doesn't necessarily mean that he is going to be the quarterback of the Titans, the dots do connect. And if it happens, then great. If it doesn't, then it really is all just gossip and the dots just happen to connect and it didn't come together, but it's worth looking into.
Okay, take the cap stuff and everything else out of it. And we can talk about this all day, and and I guess we will. Take that out of it for right now, though. Kick it around the room. You're Aaron Rodgers. Denver or Tennessee? And remember, you have a home in Tennessee.
Doesn't he also have a home in Denver?
I can't keep up with rich people in their homes.
I'm sure he does, but if he doesn't, I'm sure he can also build one there. His fiance lives in Boulder, I want to say. I would have to say Tennessee because I think Tennessee is more built to win right now than Denver is.
Plus, doesn't Rodgers want to win a Super Bowl? Like when he gets out of Green Bay.
I mean, he's not getting any younger.
Doesn't he want to win a Super Bowl to basically stick the middle fingers square in the face of the Packers?
I think he wants to win because of that reason and not to, the glory of hoisting the Lombardi trophy. I think he wants to be like, suck it, Green Bay.
Oh, yeah, no. He doesn't want to do this for his team.
No.
This is not
for the city of Nashville.
And let me say
this is for Aaron Rodgers.
This is, if you go get Aaron Rodgers, this is SEC coach level hired gun. Like, that guy's recruiting for your school only because you're paying him. And the second somebody else pays him more, or the second that you don't pay him anymore, he ain't recruiting for your school. Like, that's what this is. Ian, Tennessee or Denver, everything else aside?
I don't know. At first glance, it does feel like the Titans would be the better choice, but I don't know. Denver could be sneaky for him. I think they might. You could argue maybe have some better weapons on offense, other than running back, of course.
Sure, they got 2 receivers.
Yeah,
they have
and
with
a tight end,
Sutton
which the Titans
and Jerry Jeudy, and so I don't know. And I think the OC Hackett as the coach, I mean, that could honestly put him over the top as far as, I would probably agree with y'all that the Titans would be the best chance to win this year just because they've proven it a lot more. But I think Denver is a slow up-and-coming team, and if he really wants to be with Hackett, I could see it.
All right, hold that thought. Hold that thought. We'll get right to it on the other side. 615-737-1025. Get your thoughts, get your calls, get your texts. We'll get to them. Also, Joel Corey, NFL agent, does a lot of salary cap stuff for CBS, explained on Darren, Donick, and Chase how the Titans could make it work. It's not easy. Caroline wants to tell you about Caesar Sportsbook.
Yes, I do, because it is my favorite sportsbook, and here is the Caesar Sportsbook report. It is Super Bowl bye week, but even though there's no game action this week, there's always plenty of action on the sportsbooks for us to talk about. But first of all, download the Caesar Sportsbook app with code RADIO300, one word, code RADIO300, and if you wager exactly $20 for your first bet, you'll get $300 in free bets, win or lose. That is code RADIO300. So the opening over-under for the Super Bowl was 50. There have been several big-time bets on the under. There was a $110,000 bet on the under at minus 110, and the under has shifted from 50 in the opening odds to 48.5. So if you feel good about the under, go ahead and get your money in now before that under may drop even more. I personally, if it drops even more, I would kind of lean toward the over, but hey, do it yourself. It's your money, and put it on Caesar Sportsbook. Must be 21 or older. Offer valid in Tennessee and for new users only. First cash wager of $20 only. Paid as 6 bet credits. See Caesars.com/promos for full terms. Gambling problem? Call or text the Tennessee Red Line at 1-800-889-9789. Presented for the people by Caesar Sportsbook. The goblet has dropped, so download it. Must be 21 plus.
Tune in every Wednesday at 4:30 p.m. for Nashville's own Jason Fitz with Jared Stillman and company. Fitz started his sports talk career right here on 102.5 The Game, and now he anchors shows for ESPN. Jason Fitz is brought to you by Blood Assurance. Give blood. Give local. Give life.
The IRS is ramping up collection, and if you owe back taxes or have years of unfiled tax returns, listen carefully. Before it's too late, check your eligibility for the Fresh Start program still offered by the IRS to reduce or even eliminate your tax problems. Call our special hotline number now and find out in minutes if you qualify for these life-changing debt reduction programs. Business or personal, if you're in a payment plan with no end in sight, have unfiled tax returns, under audit, have a wage or bank levy, or finally just want to know your options, call the experts at Republic Tax Relief and stop collections immediately. A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau with a 5-star rating from Yelp, this veteran-owned company has the fight you need to take on the IRS. Don't go at it alone. Call their hotline number now, 800-819-1120. That's 800-819-1120. Find out if you qualify today. Call 800-819-1120 or go to republictaxrelief.com.
Genesis Diamonds has everything you need to create the perfect Valentine's experience. A romantic gift, some fresh flowers, chocolates, and dinner out on us. That's right. Genesis has put together the ultimate Valentine's package. When you buy any piece of jewelry for just $99 or more, we'll give you a bouquet of flowers from Jenny's Flowers, some yummy chocolates, and a gift card for dinner at STK Steakhouse. At Genesis, love and romance are what we do best. So we've created this amazing one-stop offer so you can spend quality time with the one you love this Valentine's. We've pulled together some wonderful Valentine gift ideas as well. Rings, earrings, pendants, bracelets, bands, affordable, timeless gifts she can enjoy for years. So bring the sparkle and the romance with one-stop shopping at Genesis. Spend just $99 or more with us and get the flowers, the chocolates, and a gift card for dinner as our gift. Happy Valentine's Day from Genesis Diamonds, Green Hills and Cool Springs. Limited quantity. See store for details.
Interact with Stillman and Company. Call or text the show at 615-737-1025. Driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com.
But at the end of the day, man, it's kind of like that pop-up game. If it doesn't fit, it's going to pop up in your face. And if you bring a guy in there that disrupts the locker room, you're going to that peg is not going to fit in there, and it's going to pop up in everybody's face. Trust the peg that got you there, that is the right fit. Even though even though the game that he played last was terrible, but trust the process. That's why teams win, man, because you trust the process. Dangummit.
Trust the process. Chris Sanders on our program yesterday, saying Aaron Rodgers, no. Ryan Tannehill is the guy that got the Titans here. And by the way, we have decided to start something new on our radio program. We are now calling the Tannehill apologists, which happen to be every single person that plays on the Titans right now.
Chris Sanders.
Well, Mike Tannenbaum, the coach.
Yep.
Robinson.
But do they really have a choice?
Yes.
Vrabel and Robinson?
What did Reich
publicly?
What did Reich and Ballard say?
But if we are going to use Reich and Ballard as the standard for coaches and GMs, then we got a problem.
By the way, speaking of stupid, you have got to see that Colts defensive coordinator that just got hired as the coach of the Bears. You got to listen to his introductory press conference.
Oh, is it bad?
Oh, it's bad.
Oh, no.
It's corny. It's scripted.
Oh, no.
They've got a HITS program, HITS, and it's like the I is intelligent.
No.
The T is for
tough.
turnover.
No. Oh, God, it makes me nauseous.
Oh, it's bad. The S is for speed, or I don't know. It's terrible.
Worse than Zach Taylor.
Oh, it's bad. Oh, yeah.
Oh,
this is Joe Judge level bad.
Cornball.
But again, the Boo-Hoo Tanny crew that is led by Chris Sanders, who is the only former Titan player other than Eddie George, and Eddie was kind of like outside of the airport at LAX with somebody from TMZ annoying him. And he was like, oh, no, I think Tannehill's all right, okay, yeah, can I leave and go to my car?
Can I get in my Uber?
Will you leave me alone? Like, that is the Boo-Hoo Tannehill crew. They just cannot stop. No matter, they want to tell you how if it wasn't for Ryan Tannehill, the Titans would be the New York Jets, that they would be a team without a home. And I think that this past season was more of an example of the team carrying Ryan to where they were and not the other way around. But so, we've talked about this stuff a lot. Joel Corey, CBS Sports, used to be an agent, is kind of a, agent contract cap analyst for CBS. He was on Darren Donick and Chase today, and they asked him about how would it be possible to add Aaron Rodgers or Russell Wilson. Here's what he said.
If you wanted to bring in a Russell Wilson, who would have to waive his no-trade clause, or an Aaron Rodgers, who apparently is buying land in Williamson County, you'd have to have the other team want Tannehill back in return at that number. And then even if you brought those guys in initially, you need enough cap space to accommodate their salaries. It's $24 million for Wilson, and it's just in the cap space you need for Aaron Rodgers is basically $27.5. So if you're just doing the simple math on that, you're losing 15.3 cap space to add Rodgers, and then you're losing 13.8 if you're going to add Russell Wilson. Once you got him there, you could restructure the contract, and both these guys, particularly Rodgers, since he's in a contract year, would want a new deal. You wouldn't be giving up significant assets for either one of them. And if I'm those two teams, I want 3 first-round picks for either one of those guys, or at least I'm starting at that point.
Okay. I think most people hear that, and they're like, oh, yeah, no, there's no way. Don't forget about it. Joel Corey says, it'd be, you have to add $15 million for Rodgers, $13 million for Russell. There's no way, no how. 3 first-round picks, there's no. Did you hear the part he said about restructuring? Well, you'd have to add the 13, 15, but then you can restructure, and then you can, You know what the thing I've learned about the NFL and the cap? They can figure it out.
Yes.
At the end of the day, they can figure it out. At the end of the day, the Texans figured out how to get Brock Osweiler off their cap. The Rams figured out how to cut Todd Gurley and trade Jared Goff. 2 extensions they signed that never kicked in while those guys were members of the Rams, and somehow they got rid of them. And we talked about it, Boston radio, we played the clip last week where fans see the salary cap stuff and they're like, oh, what are we going to do about the dead cap charge? And every year, it's the same. They figure it out.
It doesn't mean it won't hurt. It doesn't mean that you won't dish out cash or dish out draft picks, but
they'll figure it out.
What's worth it?
They'll figure it out. The New Orleans Saints are $60 million in the hole on the salary cap.
I believe it might even be 70.
$70 million in the hole. And guess what? You think they're going to not play this year? No.
They'll play.
They'll figure it out. Now, that's probably why the coach left, but they will figure it out. That's how the NFL works. The idea of, 3 first-round picks. So now it's 3 first-round picks because some guy said it. Some guy says it'll be 3 first-round picks. So it must be 3 first-round picks, right?
No.
Okay.
That's not what that means.
Guys, if Aaron wants to come here, and again, this is part of the deal, which is Aaron has to want to come here. The thing about these quarterback trades, everybody thinks about trades as you've been conditioned to in life with sports, to just think that, okay, if the Predators want to trade with Vancouver, then the Predators have to have something that they want to give up or want, and Vancouver has to, and then Vancouver has to, and then you make the trade because it's Predators and Vancouver. That's not how this works with these guys. It is Titans over here, Packers over here, Aaron over here. Titans over here, Seahawks over here, Russell over here. Like, they get a say. They get a very big say because Russell's got a no-trade clause, and I think Aaron's got one too. And Aaron's not going to go somewhere he doesn't want to go.
No.
So if the Packers are trying to work out a deal, Aaron is not going to allow them to just decimate completely the team that they're about to go to. And even then, I would still argue that Aaron might be worth 3 first-round picks if you think that the difference between Tannehill and Aaron is where you are with the Super Bowl. So for all this, I don't want to call it fear-mongering, because I think the Titans deep down inside are like, oh, it'd be so hard if we moved off Tannehill and we had to do this, we had to do that, we'd have to move this over here, we had to do that. But I think deep down inside, if you really decided that, if you couldn't talk yourself into Tannehill, which is exactly what I fear the Titans are going to do, if you don't talk yourself into Tannehill, then I feel like you could do this. You could do this. We talked about it with Russell last week. We're talking about it with Aaron this week. And again, you got to wonder. Everybody who cares about sports. I went and saw a doctor today. And I was telling the doctor, we were talking about different stuff or whatever. And he was like, so did you hear about this Aaron Rodgers stuff? I'm like, did I? He's like,
no, what did it say?
He's like, yeah, I was playing basketball this morning, and the guys I was playing basketball with were talking about how Aaron Rodgers is building a house in Williamson County. Really?
You don't say.
Okay. Interesting. So, again, they'll figure it out. I'm not getting too concerned about this. I'm not sitting here like, oh, the cap, let's not talk about it. Let's not. Because in the NFL, they've always figured it out. The Rams went out and they traded Jared Goff, got Matthew Stafford. Then they went out and they got Odell Beckham. They went out, got Von Miller. And somehow they figured it out.
But it won't be very fun 5-10 years down the road. But, hey, if you go to 2 Super Bowls, if you get a Super Bowl out of it, worth it.
I don't know if you could say that. I mean, the Rams signed all these people to all these contracts. The Chiefs signed all these people to all these contracts.
Chiefs got a Super Bowl.
Eventually,
Rams are in one.
You think eventually they won't be able to win, and then they just keep everybody stays? You know why? They figure it out.
Figure it out.
The NFL, the figure it out league. You know why the Saints are $70 million in the hole, and we'll get out of the $70 million and we'll play football next year. And even though they don't have a quarterback, they will have a quarterback next year.
And they also don't have a coach.
Do you know how the Saints will figure this out? How they'll do this? Why they're in this situation they're in right now?
Why?
Because for years and years and years they had Drew Brees.
Uh-huh.
And for years and years and years they thought they were contenders. Because for years and years and years they were. And every year with Drew Brees, they figured it out. Like whatever it took to they figured it out and they moved stuff off. And then COVID hit, and so it lowered the cap, so it screwed them and the Eagles. And somehow the Eagles are out of it, but they're not. And again, they will figure it out. I've been told for years how much cap space Indianapolis and Jacksonville have, and for years I haven't seen Indianapolis and Jacksonville win any games with that cap space. So, again, they will figure it out. 615-737-1025 will go to your phones, 615-737-1025. And also, there's an interesting little concern about maybe how the Titans feel about this, so we'll touch on that as well. Chris Sanders has also responded to being the leader of the Boohoo Tannehill crew, so we have that to discuss as well here on the program. 615-737-1025. TriStar Moving, those guys are my official movers. I've been telling you about TriStar for well over a year now. I moved with them in November of 2020, and it was the best moving experience I have ever had. That's why their motto is TriStar Movers with 5-star service. From the initial phone call to the final signature, moving became a breeze. They offer home protection, so they cover your floors, banisters, railings, door jambs, and even the doors themselves. And they are always upping the game when it comes to mover training. Everything was taken care of in my move, and they have a brand new state-of-the-art storage facility in Mount Juliet. They do it all. Their owners, Garrett and Robert, are true Nashvillians, and they care about helping out their hometown. So if you're looking to move, give my friends at TriStar Moving a call, 615-640-1219, or visit their website at nationalmoving.org/radio, where they'll give you 5% off your entire move. That's TriStar Moving, 615-640-1219, nationalmoving.org/radio. Tell them Jared Stillman sent you for 5% off your entire move. TriStar Moving, my official movers.
Jump in the mind of an NHL veteran as Predators analyst Hal Gill joins Stillman and Company Tuesday afternoons at 5:30.
Here they are in a pressure situation every night because they need 2 points.
And Robbie and Rexroad Thursday mornings at 9:30.
Goaltending, I think it might be an issue at some point.
Presented by Duncan on Smashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
1025 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Hey, it's Chase McCabe, and BetMGM welcomes you with a special offer on the NBA. Simply place a $10 moneyline wager on any game. If either team hits a three-pointer, you'll win $200 in free bets. All you have to do is use the code 1025GAME200 when you make your first bet. BetMGM is proud to be an authorized gaming partner of the NBA. Download the app or go to BetMGM.com. Use that bonus code 1025GAME200 to win $200 in free bets if either team hits a three-pointer. It's that simple, and it's why I love BetMGM and why it is my official sportsbook. Visit BetMGM.com for terms and conditions. 21 years of age or older to wager. Tennessee only. New customer offer. All promotions are subject to qualification and eligibility requirements. Rewards issued as non-withdrawable free bets or site credit. Free bets expire 7 days from issuance. For problem gambling support, call the Tennessee Red Line at 800-889-9789.
Need cash for that home improvement or want to finally be credit card debt free? How does a check for 80 or 90 grand sound right now? Loan Pronto can do it for you. Whether you have a VA loan or a conventional loan, they're helping local homeowners convert their home equity into cash with zero closing costs. Willie Donick here. Listen, your home value is up. Let Loan Pronto tap that equity and get you the cash you need. Pay off high interest loans. Start that home remodeling project. Veteran homeowners are really loving this because with a VA loan, you can tap 100% of your home's equity. That's a ton of cash. Loan Pronto's all-digital process makes it fast and easy. They are doing loans with APRs in the 2s. And if you call now, you can even skip your next 2 house payments. Call now to see what your options are. Loan Pronto, 615-499-5780 or loanpronto.com. That's 615-499-5780. Equal housing lender, NMLS 166-1781. Subject to lender approval. Not all loans apply.
ESPN's Turon Davenport breaks down the Titans like no other.
On the field chemistry, I don't think it's going to be a problem. It's just going to be a process.
Catch TD Mondays at 11, Thursdays at 3, and Fridays at 8. Plus, the Talking with TD podcast drops every Wednesday.
When you draft players, it's not just for one season, it's for a career.
Presented by FreedomTireGuys.com, Nashville's premier mobile tire company. Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Hey, Nashville, this is Laura Rutledge from the SEC Network, and you're listening to Nashville's best sports talk, ESPN 102.5 The Game.
Everything is still on the table in your eyes, you're thinking at this moment.
I don't think there's any free agency is not. I don't think that's an option, but I think, but everything is definitely on the table. There are things that seem more plausible or more likely, which I won't necessarily get into. But the most important thing is first the commitment to playing and to going through the off season and training and all that stuff is the first, and then after that. It's just conversations with my agent and Brian and looking at the desires of the team and the kind of the mindset moving forward, and then make a decision from there.
There you go. That was Aaron Rodgers on the Pat McAfee Show, SiriusXM, YouTube, SiriusXM, Mad Dog Sports Radio, Channel 82, a great channel. By the way, apparently we got a shout-out on the Pat McAfee Show today.
That's what I heard in the text line.
Yep, so we'll find that. I'm sure, there's not a show out there that loves patting itself on the back more than this one.
That is probably true.
There is some to that. Again, so Aaron Rodgers, as it was reported, is open to coming to the Titans. Now, everybody's talking Denver. I saw Chuck Pagano went on Pat McAfee today, and he said Denver, and Peter King last week said Denver, and everybody's saying Denver. I'm not saying it's not Denver. If I had to put odds on it, I'd say Denver right now, too. Do you think the Titans could be persuaded by this? Like the avalanche of attention that has led to, this story? Like I told you yesterday that I think that it's going to pick up a lot like last night. It picked up a lot this morning. So then you got Pro Football Talk writing about it. I think tomorrow you're going to see a lot of these TV shows that are talking about, like Skip and Shannon. Would the Titans make sense for Rodgers? Skip Bayless, what do you think? Like, I think you're going to see a lot of that. Do you think that the Titans may open their minds to this a little bit?
I don't know. I have a hard time with this because what I know of the organization, it's so tight-lipped of what's going on inside that I don't know how much they let themselves be influenced by the outside. But I also counter that with, was it not already in their minds before?
I don't know what's in their minds.
I know. I'm just asking a hypothetical question. Was it not already a thought in their mind before? That Aaron Rodgers obviously is not happy in Green Bay and hasn't been for some time. If they're not very pleased with the way that their quarterback is playing, and even though the general manager is publicly endorsing the quarterback, I'm still not completely sold that that's exactly how he feels.
I thought Fitz's line yesterday was amazing, which was like, yeah, there's not enough people that care nationally about the Titans, and if John Robinson lies about it, anyone's going to care. And I'm like, you know what? That's a fair point.
What do general managers, players, and coaches do in front of the cameras? lie their butts off. Sure. And Teddy Bruschi even admitted to it. Yeah, we lie all the time. And we talk about it all the time with Mike Vrabel. It's all just, sugarcoating everything. If it wasn't already a thought in their minds of Aaron Rodgers potentially landing here, or even Russell Wilson potentially landing here, bringing in another elite quarterback, I don't know if this would have brought it to their attention.
See, here's what I don't know the owners well enough.
Yeah.
And that's the one thing, we used to always talk about this. If the owner wants to do something, ultimately you do what the owner does. Belichick wanted to go from Brady to Garoppolo, but then Kraft said you got to trade Garoppolo. So at the end of the day, the owner gets to pick. And that's where, we can sit there. You can go to John Robinson and say, John, what do you think about Aaron Rodgers? And John can say, now, obviously, John would not say anything because that's tampering, and we don't tamper in the NFL. But, if you were having an honest moment with John and you were saying, John, what do you think of Aaron Rodgers? Well, I just don't think we can make it work. I mean, it'd be really hard. A lot of things we'd have to move around. If the owner says, John, how do we get Aaron Rodgers? John says, well, we'd have to call, check what they want. Then we'd have to move things around. We'd probably have to cut these people. Probably wouldn't be able to have these people. I don't think it'd be good for us. And the owner's like, I want Aaron. Then all of a sudden, John's going to try to go get Aaron. That's how this works in that. And so, I don't know. And I don't know if Titans ownership is persuaded like this. I would hope, honest to God, I would hope not. I would hope that Amy Adams Strunk is not picking up the phone being like, I heard on Stillman and Company that Aaron Rodgers.
Because the Titans are not the Vols. They won't let the fans make the decisions.
We say this. But do we know this?
Well, I don't know that.
Julio Jones.
But was that a fan-influenced decision?
Oh, my God. The fans wouldn't shut up about it. We spent 2 months.
But that doesn't necessarily mean that the fans influenced that decision.
I mean,
just because the fans were excited about it, which, to be honest, they had every right to be, doesn't necessarily mean it was a fan-influenced decision.
They will tell you every time that it's not a fan-influenced decision.
No, I know they'll say that. But what is it actually? And that's what I struggle with.
I hope it wasn't.
Is that any peek behind the curtain that we can get into that organization is probably false.
Some organizations are more transparent about this than others, even if they lie. The Raiders. I follow the Raiders line of thinking very easily, right? They didn't want to fire John Gruden. The first email came out, and they weren't going to fire John Gruden, and he coached on Sunday. Then the barrage of emails came out on Monday, and then the Raiders ultimately parted ways with Gruden, and then were mad about it. That didn't surprise me. And then they went out and they tried to get a big coach, so they went out and they hired the guy from the Patriots. That doesn't surprise me. Very transparent in their thinking. The Titans, I don't think, are fan-influenced. I don't think they think about having big-name quarterbacks or big-name coaches or whatever. I do think the Titans do things their way, which may be Robinson's way. It may be Amy's way. I don't know. But they do things their way. I mean, how can you fire Mike Mularkey after a playoff game where he got to the division round of the playoffs and lost to the Patriots, and then there's no accountability for any coach after they lost this game to the Bengals? There's no way other than I wanted to fire that guy, and I don't want to fire these guys. Makes sense to me. But I don't know. I don't know how influenced the Titans are. I don't know, when Amy puts her foot down on John and those guys. I don't know. I don't know. Let's go to your phones. 615-737-1025. Phone lines are driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com.
Scott in Kansas City texts in and says, if Denver and Tennessee are equally good, why wouldn't you go to the warmer city in a winnable division?
Because they're not equally good, number one. That is the first thing. I don't think they're equally good. Do you?
No.
I mean,
but could that be the difference of a quarterback in Denver?
No. Who's great on Denver's defense?
I don't know.
I think their defense is okay. I don't watch enough Denver football, but they got a receiver who's really good in Cortland Sutton. They've got another receiver, Jerry Jeudy, who honestly is not as good as I thought he was going to be in the NFL, but his quarterbacks have stunk. They've got a revolving door at running back.
Yeah. But also to that point about the wide receivers, that was Ian's point that, Denver probably has better weapons on offense.
Sure, no.
But if Aaron Rodgers is wanting to bring Devontae Adams with him, then he might not even be looking at pass catchers as a priority for him. Because if he's just going to bring Devontae Adams with him.
Sure. Now, I don't know how much of that is real that he's going to bring Devontae Adams with him.
I don't either.
But maybe he – I don't know. The thing I've realized about Aaron Rodgers just through a lot of the discussions I've had, Aaron doesn't have a lot of friends from what I've been told. And so when I see A to Z Sports put out there that David Bakhtiari is moving here, Randall Cobb is moving here, Clay Matthews is moving here, it's almost like if I were to decide to buy a subdivision and then made you and Ian live there too, because I didn't have any friends, so it was like, hey, I need you guys, like my work friends.
You guys like me,
right?
So
I
just
need
come
you guys
with
to be here with me,
make me look cool.
So maybe it does. Maybe it's like Gronk and AB, how Brady fought tooth and nail for it. I don't know, but that is an interesting element here of what would happen if you ended up going with Aaron Rodgers. What's next?
Indy Ben texts in and says, Why would you think the Titans are going to get Aaron Rodgers? The Titans are most likely stuck with Tannehill in 2022.
Because I am at least exploring the possibility. This idea of, Tannehill's probably going to be the quarterback. Let's not talk about this on the radio. Let me ask everybody else out there. What are you supposed to talk about on the radio then? What is there to talk about?
I don't know.
We're talking about the Pro Bowl?
Senior Bowl?
Senior Bowl. Now, we are actually going to talk to TD about the Senior Bowl for a little bit. But, you want Pro Bowl talk? Who do you think is going to win, the AFC or the NFC?
Ooh, give me the NFC.
I mean, seriously, Pro Bowl talk? Do you know what I noticed today?
What?
Do you know who's in the Pro Bowl?
Who?
Mac Jones.
No way.
Is in the Pro Bowl.
No, well, I mean, I feel like the revolving door at quarterback in the Pro Bowl was so bad because so many of these quarterbacks were like, nah, I'm going to Cabo.
Your sports all-star game is going to, at some point, have Kirk Cousins quarterbacking one team and Mac Jones quarterbacking the other team.
Pro Bowl, baby.
Mac Jones is in the Pro Bowl. What's next?
Well, good for him. We've gotten a lot of texts about this, asking what you think Floyd may think about bringing in Aaron Rodgers.
Oh, no. Hey, Ian, you know that I know not to do this.
Yeah, that's an interesting question, and honestly, it's hard to really say.
So here's what I would say. He would be as non-committal as possible and would basically just say that they can't do it and be done with it. That sound about right, Ian?
Definitely the non-committal part.
I'll say this. I don't know how he would have handled yesterday's show. 4 hours of pure
gossip.
Just unadulterated. I don't even know what that word means. Pure, unadulterated, hardcore journalistic gossip.
That's exactly what that was.
Yes. I'm not sure he would have.
That's where I fit best.
I'm not sure he.
Some one-liners in there, a bunch of okays, and what's next?
You think this matters? This doesn't mean yeah. It's like we got to fill 4 hours. What are you talking about, Floyd?
But you see, gossip is where I thrive.
Let's talk about the Pro Bowl though, or Senior Bowl. Oh my goodness gracious!
No
I will never
disrespect
forget
to the Senior Bowl.
I'll say this though, when it came to Senior Bowl and Combine, he came out with dudes that actually teams liked. I remember when Marcus
that's
Davenport,
what they're there for.
He was like, Davenport, awesome. And then Van Der Esch at the Combine, loved him. Obviously, they ended up propelling themselves into the first round and have had okay NFL careers. 615-737-1025, more of your phones. Plus, apparently, we got a shout-out on the Pat McAfee show. And there was an Instagram ad that really got me.
Oh, boy.
Stillman & Company, it's ESPN 102.5 The Game.
From Fox 17 News, this is a Code Red Weather Alert.
I'm Fox 17 News Code Red meteorologist Dan Guthrie. Falling temperatures the rest of the afternoon and evening means rain will try to switch over to freezing rain, so watch out for slick spots tonight and tomorrow morning.
This weather report brought to you by Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical.
Call the Happy Face Truck today.
The IRS is ramping up collection, and if you owe back taxes or have years of unfiled tax returns, listen carefully. Before it's too late, check your eligibility for the Fresh Start program still offered by the IRS to reduce or even eliminate your tax problems. Call our special hotline number now and find out in minutes if you qualify for these life-changing debt reduction programs. Business or personal, if you're in a payment plan with no end in sight, have unfiled tax returns, under audit, have a wage or bank levy, or finally just want to know you're other options, call the experts at Republic Tax Relief and stop collections immediately. A-plus rated by the Better Business Bureau with a 5-star rating from Yelp, this veteran-owned company has the fight you need to take on the IRS. Don't go at it alone. Call their hotline number now, 800-819-1120. That's 800-819-1120. Find out if you qualify today. Call 800-819-1120 or go to republictaxrelief.com.
Preds fans, the huge outdoor game at Nissan Stadium is coming up on February 26th, and you have a great chance to win tickets plus save lives by donating blood. We're out here at the grand opening of the new Blood Assurance in Hermitage at 4686 Lebanon Pike. Stop by today and register to win a pair of tickets to the big game. Plus, we will be giving away to one lucky winner a limited edition Preds Stadium Series jersey. Come see us at the all-new Blood Assurance location in Hermitage, where we're giving away Preds Stadium game tickets all day.
Genesis Diamonds has everything you need to create the perfect Valentine's experience. A romantic gift, some fresh flowers, chocolates, and dinner out on us. That's right. Genesis has put together the ultimate Valentine's package. When you buy any piece of jewelry for just $99 or more, we'll give you a bouquet of flowers from Jenny's Flowers, some yummy chocolates, and a gift card for dinner at STK Steakhouse. At Genesis, love and romance are what we do best. So we've created this amazing one-stop offer so you can spend quality time with the one you love this Valentine's. We've pulled together some wonderful Valentine gift ideas as well. Rings, earrings, pendants, bracelets, bands, affordable, timeless gifts she can enjoy for years. So bring the sparkle and the romance with one-stop shopping at Genesis. Spend just $99 or more with us and get the flowers, the chocolates, and a gift card for dinner as our gift. Happy Valentine's Day from Genesis Diamonds, Green Hills and Cool Springs. Limited quantity. See store for details.
Inside knowledge on the Titans.
Todd Downey's got his notepad out right now, just writing things down. Ooh.
Inside knowledge on the Predators.
They can go right into the forecheck, and boom, you get a beautiful goal from Colton Sissons.
And then there's a team in Knoxville.
How excited should Tennessee fans be by what they've seen from Josh Heupel in year one?
Wake up and hang out with Robbie and Rexroad. Weekday mornings from 6 to 10. Brought to you by Little Guys Movers on Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 The Game and The Game Nashville app. Watch live on Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube.
Stillman and Company is on. Delivered by TriStar Moving.
What is it about Tannehill that leads the people that work with him to absolutely believe in him and just love the fact that what he brings that team?
Because he's a real dude. He's tough and he's smart and he's authentic and he's a great dude and he's really, really he's everything you want. He's a genuine, pure guy. He's high character. I really like the guy a lot, and I think he's much better than people give him credit for. And the only thing he doesn't do is he doesn't draw attention to himself. And I just know there were situations in Miami where things went wrong. It wasn't his fault, and he's out there saying it's his fault. And I would really suggest to the audience at some point tonight, Google Bill Parcells' 10 Commandments of being a quarterback. And really what it talks about is like being a battlefield commander and, absorbing blame and deflecting credit. And he's all that. And, I want to go eat dinner with Ryan. I want to go play football with Ryan. I want to be around him. And he's as real and as authentic as they get.
Mike Tannenbaum, a proud member of the Boohoo Tannehill crew. Chris Sanders, Mike Tannenbaum, Mike Vrabel, John Robinson, all the Titan players. Bussing with the boys.
Ride or die with Tanny.
The Boohoo Tannehill crew. Half the text line. So, Chris Sanders has, by the way, replied to us making him a founding member of the Boohoo Tanny crew.
Yes. Congratulations, Chris.
He said, love it, LOL, let's go Tanny, let's go Tanny. So,
there you go.
I'm minding my business yesterday on Instagram, and I follow Ryan Tannehill.
Uh-huh.
And I just want people to know, I got no beef with Ryan Tannehill, the guy. I'm sure Ryan Tannehill probably doesn't love me. I don't know. But I have no beef with Tannehill, the guy. No, I just want him not to throw the ball to the other team. And he's done it too often that now I want someone else to throw the ball because I don't trust him to throw it when it matters the most. So I'm on Instagram. And I see this. It says paid partnership, so it has to be an ad.
It's an ad.
An ad for Peloton. Now, Caroline over here is an Echelon user.
I am a proud Echelon girl.
Not a Peloton girl.
Nope. No. Echelon only.
Echelon. So,
it
Tannehill
sounds eerily similar, but I promise they're different.
Tannehill puts out there, excited to partner with @OnePeloton to represent Team Activate at this week's game in AT's Ride to Greatness. Whatever that is. Let's go Team Activate at Alex Toussaint 25. So I'm looking.
He's like a trainer.
I know.
Yeah.
I'm looking at Tannehill's little picture, and he's put it up on his Instagram story. He put it up on Instagram, and it says, star quarterback, comeback king, and Peloton member. And I thought, how tone deaf can we be? Peloton, Tannehill.
You keep saying Peloton in a very aggressive way.
Well, maybe because
why are you so mad at Peloton?
I have no beef with Peloton.
It sounds like you do.
I have no beef with Peloton. But it says comeback king on there. And I thought, my goodness gracious. Like everybody that I feel like we talked to when it comes to that game 2.5 weeks ago, which I don't know if you've noticed, I'm still not over it yet. But,
interesting.
And you know what really gets me is I saw like somebody retweet pictures of Joe Burrow and Joe Mixon. And they're like taking pictures like in their Super Bowl uniforms with the Super Bowl patch. And they're holding every time I see a Super Bowl patch on a Bengals jersey, it just takes me right back to how just much I wish somebody else was quarterback of the Titans right now. But it says comeback king. It's like, dude, we all watched the game. Like we all know it. And the further we get away from this game, the more it's like we conveniently forget how he blew the game. How he blew the season, how he blew the number 1 seed. And it says comeback king. And I'm like, comeback king? He threw one pass on that drive, and it went right to their team. What comeback?
You are looking too far into it. You're getting agitated over something that literally means quite literally nothing.
But can Tannehill not at least have the self-awareness when Peloton sends him this ad and is like, hey, this is the ad we want you to post on Instagram, and say, hey, like, you know, it's still a little raw for the people, you know, out there with the way that I absolutely blew the game 2 weeks ago.
No.
Why not?
Because Peloton is trying to sell bikes.
Sell it somewhere else.
Sell merchandise.
Say something else about
Because
him.
does it sound good to say comeback king and star quarterback, or turns the ball over 3 times in a playoff game and is average quarterback? What sells?
What? Tell the truth.
Jared.
No.
You're being such a crybaby
Here's
about
my
this.
problem. Here's my one problem with this. Here's my one problem. What's happened is as we've gotten further and further and further away from the game, people are starting to forget how terrible he was in that game. Adam in Portland is a great example of this.
Yes, he is.
Because he called on Monday. I started the show Monday after the Bengals game, and I said it is time to get a divorce at quarterback. And everybody, what percentage of the calls that day and texts that day, because you man the text line, what percentage were anti-Tannehill and somebody else needs to be in there?
99%.
Okay, including Adam from Portland.
Yes.
Then, as it progressed, it's like they kind of talked themselves into.
He's expensive.
If the Titans can just get some tight ends,
he got
and
us here.
It'll be.
It's the line's fault.
And so the more that we lie about Ryan Tannehill and calling him comeback king, the more we allow others to lie. The more we allow it, the more people will get into their minds that it's not that bad with Tannehill, when in reality, the Bengals are in the Super Bowl, people.
I'm not allowing you to think that this is a big deal.
Oh, it's not a big deal. It's a deal.
I don't think it's a deal at all.
It's a deal.
I think it is such a non-starter. If
wall.
John Robinson or Mike Vrabel stood up at the podium and said, our comeback king, our star, I'd be like, that's frustrating.
That's what they have been saying. Think about all the things he's done here.
They never called him the comeback king.
Think about all the things he's done here.
Peloton
Think about
trying
what the Titans
to sell
were
ads.
before him. Think about what.
No. I won't let you have this.
No.
This is so
It's so out of touch.
It's
so
Peloton
out of
trying
touch
to
with reality.
to sell bikes. Was Ryan Tannehill not a comeback player of the year at some point?
2 years ago. So 2 years ago, he was comeback player of the year. He is not comeback king. In fact, he's not even the king on his own team.
Well,
there is another person called King on his team, and it ain't him.
Well, does Derrick Henry have Peloton ads? Maybe we can talk to Peloton
about I bet you if Derrick Henry wanted
their
to
marketing
do Peloton,
department.
I bet you if Derrick wanted to do Peloton, they'd ship Ryan Tannehill right out of there, and they'd put Derrick right there on the Peloton ad.
Probably
but again, I just will not allow us, no matter what happens. And I think Tannehill's going to be the starting quarterback next year of the Titans. I do. But no matter what happens, we are not to forget what happened against the Bengals. And we are not to do what a lot of people do in America, which is if I don't want to have to digest what happened, I just won't think about it, won't see it, that will not be this show. We will always remember it. And then
never forget.
And if Tannehill allows the Bengals game to be what motivates him to play better next year, and he goes out there and hears all of this and spends all offseason on his Peloton training, getting ready for the next season, and he goes out there and starts the season and wins the league MVP award next year out of spite for people like me and you, then guess what?
Great.
We'll all take credit for it. 615-737-1025. What do we have in the text line?
One texter texts into the text line and says he is the comeback king because since he became our starter, he has more comebacks than anybody.
Yes, no, that's not true. He's tied with Tom Brady. But they do this at the Titan game where they showed on the Jumbotron all of his comebacks. Houston, Jacksonville, Minnesota.
Comebacks nonetheless.
Denver. Now, he did have one against Buffalo this year, and he was 9-9 in the fourth quarter.
In Seattle this year.
Outside of being horrendous. But, guess what? When it becomes time for the playoffs, you playing a little bit better team, you're playing Cincinnati, you're not going to be able to come back in that. We talked about the Indianapolis
They should have specified regular season comeback king.
Well, Indianapolis Colts game where he threw 2 gift interceptions, so you had to have him. You had to have Derrick Henry and Kevin Byard and Elijah Molden. And
do you think they put that in the footnotes?
Come back.
We should check. Comeback king asterisk. It was only the Indianapolis game when the opposing quarterback threw 2 interception, and it was the Minnesota Vikings and the crummy, crappy Jags.
Go back to the Buccaneers-Rams playoff game. 27-3, Brady comes all the way back and loses the game. Right?
Yes.
That is a quarterback coming back. Even though he lost, that is comeback king.
And he's done that before.
Has Tannehill ever done that as quarterback of the Titans?
I'm not this past season.
I mean, I'm trying to think. Ian, has he ever done that?
I'm sorry, what was that?
Where Tannehill led him back from a huge deficit, and he went out there and played out of his mind and brought them back.
From a huge deficit?
Yeah, like how Brady brought him back
from 20,
against
something like that.
I'm trying to think. I don't. Maybe the Chiefs game in
Kansas
2019.
City. Yeah, I mean, it wasn't a huge deficit, but I mean, it was back and forth, and they were down 17-7 or something like that. But I think it was only around
14-0 when he hit Raymond for a huge pass. But we have to go back to November of 2019 to get to what comeback. I'm not
defending Ryan
Tannehill. I am not letting people forget what happened in the Cincinnati game. I will not let that happen. Even if he's the quarterback of the Titans next year, I will not until he atones for that. I will not let people forget. TD. We'll take a little bit of a quarterback breather here on Tannehill and Rodgers. I want TD's thoughts on the Brian Flores lawsuit because there's going a lot of different directions. And I want TD's thoughts on it, so we'll do that TD Power Hour. Then we'll get into the quarterback gossip. Then TD's thoughts from the Senior Bowl and much more. Stillman & Company. It's ESPN 102.5 The Game.
Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max. Weekday mornings from 5 to 9.
Did you see the Tennessee Titans? He has all the weapons to make it happen. There's so much to pay attention to.
Greeny from 9 to 11.
Ryan Tannehill is the most disrespected player.
Art and Han from 11 to 2.
You never stop punching. They've got to learn how to close the deal.
And the Paul Feinbaum Show afternoons from 2 to 6.
Are these legitimate contenders to the party?
Your exclusive home for ESPN Radio in the Music City.
ESPN
94.9 and the Game Nashville app.
ElectronicExpress.com. We make it happen.
Hey, Robbie Stanley here. You missing football on Thursdays? Well, you can still turn every Thursday into payday with NBA on TNT on FanDuel Sportsbook. It doesn't matter if you win or lose. FanDuel's giving all customers $10 back every Thursday. Just bet a $10 or more same-game parlay on any NBA on TNT game. Same-game parlays let you combine the money line, point spread, player props, and more all into one wager. It's an all-LA battle this Thursday night. Give me the Clippers to take down the Lakers. Give me LeBron over on the points, but you take it any way you want to take it. It's the perfect way to turn a small bet into a big-time score, and win or lose, you're guaranteed to get $10 added to your account. And guess what? If you're new to FanDuel, just sign up for promo code ROB to enjoy this special Super Bowl bet and get 56-1 odds on either team to win the Super Bowl. You can turn a $5 bet into $280. Once again, that promo code is ROB. Must be 21 or older and present in Tennessee. Bonus issued is non-withdrawable site credit that expires in 7 days. A max bonus of $10. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Got a gambling problem? Call the Tennessee Red Line at 1-800-889-9789.
Boys and Girls Clubs of Middle Tennessee ensures children and teens, especially those who need us most, are ready to read, ready for class, ready to graduate, ready for their career, and ready to serve the community. You can support local youth and their great futures by donating at bgcmt.org.
Men, it's the new year, and maybe it's time to do something new for you. If you're sluggish and run down, not sleeping well, have low libido, and just not feeling like you used to, it's possible you have low testosterone. This is Kim for the Tennessee Men's Clinic, and if you feel like this, and you're like most men with low T, we can get you back on track fast. Low T treatments can truly change your life. Most men experience higher energy, better gains in the gym, improved sleep patterns, and better mental clarity. You'll also likely find that your libido is improved, which can have a very positive effect on your sex life. At the Tennessee Men's Clinic, we've successfully treated thousands of men for low T. We're experts in these treatment protocols, and we're extremely proud of the results that our patients have experienced. So if you're feeling down and out this new year, it's time to call us. Just $99 gets you a PSA and T test and a medical consult. Call 615-208-9090 or go to TennesseeMen'sClinic.com. Visit our website to learn more, including side effects. Treatments extra. Results vary.
Hey, Ray Magliozzi here. I'd like to carry more parts at my shop, but I just don't have the room. Every time I go in the back to get wiper blades, I trip over a dusty crate of Honda air filters, then bang my head on some GTO radiator hoses. eBay Motors never has that problem. They stock all the right parts at the right prices. 122 million of them, with everything from new headlights to vintage gear shifters. I can't imagine being able to stock 122 million parts. I mean, where would I get all those shelves? eBay Motors. Let's ride.
From the Hillside Medical Game Studios, WPRT-FM Pegram, WPUC HD2 Laverne, broadcasting 97.5 Murfreesboro, 106.3 Williamson County,
ESPN
102.5 The Game, and the Game Nashville app.
A Cromwell Media Station.
Live from the Game Nashville studios, it's Stillman and Company. Delivered by TriStar Moving. TriStar Movers with 5-star service. With Jared Stillman on Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Stillman and Company is delivered by TriStar Moving. ESPN 102.5 The Game, streaming live on Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, Facebook Live. Thanks to the law offices of Amanda Gentry. Live from the Hillside Medical Game Studios. It's the TD Power Hour. Teron Davenport, presented by FreedomTireGuys.com. FreedomTireGuys.com, Nashville's premier mobile tire company, online at FreedomTireGuys.com. TD, how are you today?
Hey, every day's a good day, man. Even though it's raining, it's still sunny out in my book.
Well, welcome to the Gossip Island, where we have been spending the last 48 hours or so, which we will get into all the quarterback gossip here with you in a second. But I want to start with you on this, because we have spent time on this Tuesday, yesterday, and now I want to get your thoughts on it. The Brian Flores lawsuit. A lot of people have sued the NFL before, and most of the time I really don't care. John Gruden, for example, is suing the NFL right now. Don't care. St. Louis sued the NFL over the Rams moving to L.A. Don't care. This one, I care about. And this one feels like there's a lot of juice to it, especially, like, to me, I think there's two separate issues. There's the hiring of minority coaches, and then there's all the other drama about the owner of the Dolphins paying the tank and Hugh Jackson backing that. And I think while they're kind of connected, they're not exactly connected, but I do wonder kind of what you make of the current situation on the Brian Flores lawsuit.
Yeah, it's really unfortunate that something like this has to happen, but it's just that it has to happen. And I think when you look overall at the different opportunities that guys have gotten, look no further than the David Coley situation, right? And you know, you watched this game that they had, the season finale against the Titans, and you saw that team fight all the way to the last second. And this was a team that really didn't have much to be playing for, you know, so they never lost he never lost the locker room. The guys never lost their desire to play. And he got that team to basically the same record as they had the year before, but without Deshaun Watson, without J.J. Watt. I think when you look at that situation and how he got fired, that's just kind of like the whole situation in a nutshell. And you look at a lot of these guys, right? DeMeco Ryans. All he had to do was go to Minnesota and tell them to put on the Packers tape against the 49ers. And that alone should have got him that job. You look at, there's so many across the league, right? You look at Todd Bowles and you look at Byron Leftwich. You know, you look at these guys and the opportunities that they haven't gotten. Look at Steve Wilkes. There's so many that you could bring up. And it's just interesting the way it's, in some cases, almost like a different set of eyes are placed on these guys than are placed on your Kevin O'Connells, right? Your Sean McVays, your Matt LaFleur's, these types who get an opportunity so quickly. And that's not to take away from what they've done, because these guys have earned opportunities, but it just is interesting to me how those guys have opportunities in front of them, but your Eric Bieniemys don't. You know, and we could go through a whole bunch of them. You look at Pittsburgh and just the fact that Mike Tomlin had 15 seasons without a losing record. No coach ever started their career with 15 consecutive winning seasons. Yet earlier this year, there was conversation in Pittsburgh media of Mike Tomlin being fired. How?
My thing with this, and I know that this is going to sound really simplistic, is how can you have one black coach in the NFL? I mean, like, how can you say that it's something else when it's like, and I think the Rooney Rule's a total sham. Like, I hear these interviews, like the Titans interviewed Terrell Austin when they hired Mike Mularkey as their coach. They were never going to hire Terrell Austin to be their head coach. The Oakland Raiders interviewed T. Martin to be their head coach when they hired John Gruden. Like, I'm not about telling people, hey, you need to hire an Asian person for this. Like, I don't believe in that, and I'm sure that most people don't. But how can there only be one black coach in the NFL? Like, that's the thing. You can't tell me that there's not a problem and then have there be one black head coach in the NFL. And I know, without going through the list, TD, I don't need to go through the list. I know that there's more than one person who's qualified to have that job in the NFL.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, Raheem Morris, right? Sure. The Rams defense is pretty good. Now, they aren't the same as they were with Brandon Staley. There's, personnel changes and things like that. But, I mean, Brandon Staley had a really good year. Next thing you know, he was a head coach, right? Raheem Morris has been a head coach in this league before, and he got fired, and he has coached offensively and defensively. I believe that he's done a lot in order to get himself back in a position where he should be a legitimate candidate. Yet here we are. A Deuce Staley is another one. It's just really it's disappointing when you see this. And you have guys like Jim Caldwell, who at this point, because he knows a lot of it is just token, slot filling interviews, sure, he doesn't really take a lot of interviews anymore.
What do you think a solution here is? Because, I mean, you can't tell people, like, you can't say, hey, the NFL can't say, hey, we need to have at least 10 black coaches. Like, because I'll use the Titans as an example. I mean, I think Mike Vrabel was a great hire when they hired Mike Vrabel. I think they knew they were going to hire Mike Vrabel when they fired Mike Mularkey. They interviewed Steve Wilkes for the job. I don't think Steve Wilkes ever had a chance to get it. They interviewed him because of the Rooney Rule. And I think the Titans ended up with a good coach. But at the same time, I mean, it is a little disturbing, again, that there's one black coach. So what do you do?
Yeah, see, that's the tough part of it is, a lot of times it comes down to, you look at the connections, right? There's a lot of nepotism in the league. And actually, sure, William C. Roden for the Undefeated, he wrote an article about nepotism and about the minority coach in the NFL. And it's a really good read if you go. It was about 2 weeks ago. So if the listeners get a chance, definitely check that out. But nepotism plays a big role. And I think, a lot of it comes down to head coaches providing more opportunities and pushing these guys a little bit more. And I think, you look at Tampa, Bruce Arians and how he's opened up so much play calling to Byron Leftwich, right? And how, again, Todd Bowles, I think even you look at Coach Vrabel, I mean, he has his staff is mostly minority, to be honest with you. Look at, so many other coaches that he has on there. And I think that's really the key, is more opportunities being provided for these guys, but then also the next step, going from QB coach or receiver coach to offensive coordinator, and then from coordinator to head coach. That's the big thing. But it's just, like I said, unfortunate. You look at Sherm Lewis, who coached the Packers offense for so many years under Mike Holmgren, and he never got an opportunity. So it's really about providing this opportunity for these guys to be head coaches.
You know what's crazy, though? I think there's a lot of African-American coordinators right now that aren't getting head coaching jobs.
Yeah.
I mean, Bieniemy's not getting head coaching job. The two guys, Bowles and Leftwich, are not getting Leslie Frazier. I mean, like Floyd told me one time, I think he's the DB's coach for the Packers right now, Jerry Gray. And Floyd told me that he knew when Jerry Gray was the DB coach for the Oilers and the Titans back in the day, that Jerry Gray was going to be a head coach in the NFL. He knew it. And Jerry Gray went to Buffalo under Greg Williams and was defensive coordinator, and they had some good teams. And I remember him telling me, Floyd, in 2020, he was like, I was stunned that Jerry Gray never got an opportunity to be head coach. And I look, and Jerry Gray's doing a great job with the Packers now. And nobody talks about a guy like that. That's what I look at. Like, so how do we – I get the offensive guys and the Rams tree and all. I understand that. But how can Eric Bieniemy – not get a job when the guy before him, Matt Nagy, got a job, and the guy before him, Doug Peterson under Andy Reid, got a job, and all these other Andy Reid guys are getting jobs, and Bieniemy can't?
Yeah, and here's the thing. Mike Kafka, I remember watching this guy play for the Eagles, but he was a QB coach and kind of like pass game coordinator for the Chiefs. He got the OC job with the Giants. Now, mark my words, he will get a head coaching job before Eric Bieniemy does. And it's just, unfortunately, the way things go. It's just the opportunities, and it's almost like there isn't a belief that they're capable. And this is just, me just speaking off the top, like just sharing how I look at it. And it's unfortunate. And it goes down also. One of the other things you have to look at is the way these games are covered on TV, right? You look at the Bengals versus the Chiefs, right? They call that screenplay to Samaje Perine. It's a screenplay. Okay, Perine caught the ball and had an amazing run to get to the end zone. But they show the Bengals offensive coordinators, that play was called by him. Eric Bieniemy calls a beautiful play in the end of the regulation in the Bills and Chiefs game, right? Has Travis Kelce backside, 3-by-1. He's the backside receiver isolated. And you have a slot receiver on the opposite side. He runs a post. Kelce runs the seam. You put the linebacker in a bind. He doesn't know who to pick his poison. Kelce catches the ball, and that sets up the game-winning field goal. Eric Bieniemy wasn't shown once. Those type of subtle things where you do have a degree of conditioning, that plays a big part of it as well.
TD, what did you think of the accusations about the tanking and the money and all that?
Wow, yeah, that's unbelievable. It's really unfortunate because that's just tearing up the integrity of the game.
Bingo.
And it's meant to Herm Edwards, rather. He said it perfectly. You play to win the game. And I don't care what is going on as far as potential draft picks or anything like that. Guys that are playing, they don't care about that. They need to win, and they need to put their best foot forward because it's not for long, right? I mean, you have to go in and have good tape on good play on tape all the time to secure your job. And if not your job with the current franchise, with the next franchise. So going out there and tanking is like, it's terrible. It should never even be something that a team considers doing.
TD's with us, TD Power Hour, presented by FreedomTireGuys.com. All right, we're back to the gossip. I want to know what TD thinks of John Robinson's strong comments in support of Ryan Tannehill and the Aaron Rodgers news. We'll get to that next with TD, Stillman and Company. It's ESPN 102.5 The Game.
Every Friday at 8:30 on Robbie and Rexo, we talk with the legend, Terry Chris, about all things Nashville Predators, presented by Copper Branch on ESPN 102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Staples stores are a new world of possible with innovative tools for small business and remote workers and learners. Explore more at your local Staples store or staplesconnect.com.
Now's the time to get a great deal on select Kubota compact tractors. Rated #1 for reliability in the under 100 horsepower category, they're designed for easy operation and feature performance-matched attachments. Right now, put 0 down and get 0% APR for up to 60 months, plus save up to $1,100. Now through February 28th. See us or go to KubotaUSA.com for full disclaimer.
Come see why Coleman Tractor Company is one of the largest Kubota dealers in Middle Tennessee, Paris, Clarksville, Nashville, and their new location in White House.
Are you a father that is passionate about your fundamental constitutional right to parent your own child or children? Has your parenting time or your income been affected by COVID? This is Amanda J. Gentry, and I am a fierce defender of your constitutional rights. The courts in Tennessee are under an obligation to maximize equal parenting time. We do not live in an every other weekend world anymore. At the law offices of Amanda J. Gentry, fathers are extremely important, much like my own father was. Go to AmandaJGentry.com or call or text 615-604-6263. That's AmandaJGentry.com.
Furniture has never been easier to buy than now at Social Furniture. All the 2022 sofas, sectionals, and mattresses are arriving daily with the latest styles and colors ready for delivery. All furniture at Social is top quality solid woods and designer fabrics. There's no waiting, and they have same-day delivery for your convenience. Use their financing and pay no money down and pay no interest for 1 full year. Buy local, support Social. Social Furniture on Charlotte Avenue in West Nashville. Social Furniture is a proud supporter of your Nashville Predators.
Did you know that about 80% of new home buyers don't ever shop around for the best mortgage loan? That's a huge mistake. Hey, Willie Donick here. Listen, not all mortgages are created equal, and I'm here to prove it with Loan Pronto. People who use Loan Pronto save on average $3,500 just in closing costs. On top of that, they get a better rate, which saves them thousands more every year. Your banker or agents go to lender. They're fine people, but don't assume they're giving you the best deal. Call Loan Pronto for a quick second opinion or go to loanpronto.com. I'll bet they can get you a better loan, a lower rate, without all those annoying closing costs. What have you got to lose? You compare costs on everything else in your life. Why not do the same with your mortgage? Call 615-499-5780 or go to loanpronto.com. 615-499-5780. Equal housing lender, NMLS 166-1781, subject to lender approval.
Preds fans, the huge outdoor game at Nissan Stadium is coming up on February 26th, and you have a great chance to win tickets, plus save lives by donating blood. We're out here at the grand opening of the new Blood Assurance in Hermitage at 4686 Lebanon Pike. Stop by today and register to win a pair of tickets to the big game. Plus, we will be giving away to one lucky winner a limited edition Preds Stadium Series jersey. Come see us at the all-new Blood Assurance location in Hermitage, where we're giving away Preds Stadium game tickets all day.
If you've missed any of today's show, just search Stillman and Company on Apple, Spotify, or your favorite podcast platform.
Stillman and Company, we're delivered by TriStar Moving. TD Power Hour, presented by FreedomTireGuys.com. Again, get your questions in for TD at the end of the hour, as we always do. 615-737-1025 is our phone number. TD is with us. Okay, TD, we got John Robinson's really strong comments about Ryan Tannehill. The quote, he is our quarterback, and that he doesn't think, Robinson said, that he sees a quarterback who can stare down the barrel of a blitz and throw the ball better than Tannehill does, which I found to be a little wild and crazy. But then we've got the Aaron Rodgers report that we reported yesterday, that is Aaron Rodgers has bought a house in Williamson County. Aaron Rodgers is open to joining the Titans, and that the Packer players or some of his Packer teammates do not expect him back in Green Bay. What do you make of the Rodgers gossip and the Robinson comments surrounding Tannehill?
Well, I could understand what John Robinson is saying about staring down the blitz and throwing the ball. That's something that Mike Vrabel has raved about as well. I just think the big thing with Tannehill is you got to stop making these mistakes. The interceptions, those have to stop. And each one has its own story. We know this. We've gone over it. But there are some that are without a doubt his fault, and you can't have those. So it's just an interesting situation. I believe that they are of the thought process to move forward with Tannehill as a quarterback and just build the roster a little bit more around him. I would expect to see a bit of an overhaul on offense as far as some weapons and things added. But, that's just the way I look at it. As far as the Aaron Rodgers thing, it's interesting, but, I just don't necessarily fully believe that buying a house here means that he wants to play for the Titans, because there's just so many other athletes that live here in Nashville. So it's definitely something to inquire about, and I have done so, and I'm waiting on some things back. But I don't think it necessarily cements the fact that Aaron Rodgers wants to come here and play for the Titans.
No, so what I was told was that him being open to playing for the Titans is independent of the home, but the word open was basically, I use that specifically. He's open to it. Maybe he's open to every team in the league. I don't know. He's open to it. I wouldn't say that means that he wants to be on the Titans and that he's instructed David Dunn to tell the Packers make a deal work out for the Titans. Mm-hmm. All I know is he's open to the idea. And it would make sense that he's open to the idea. It would be very complicated for the Titans to pull this off, though not impossible. I just think the bigger thing here is why are the Titans so committed on Tannehill? Is it because of the situation they're in financially, or is it because they really, truly believe that they can get to the promised land with Ryan Tannehill as the quarterback, which would be a huge disagreement from me. And, you wrote about the Titans maybe hitting their ceiling with Tannehill. You texted me before we had Mike Tannenbaum on Friday, and you were like, dude, he loves Tannehill. And I knew that he did, but then when I actually heard him talk about it as much, I was like, oh, my God. Maybe the Titans feel that way about Tannehill.
It's very possible that they do feel that way. And the thing is, you talk to the player, especially A.J. Brown, talk to A.J., man, that dude loves Ryan Tannehill. And he'll tell you, he'll say, hey, listen, man, what I do is not because of me. It's because of Ryan, and it's just really interesting the degree of how fond these guys are of him. You talk to Roger Saffold, you heard what Taylor Lewan has said, right? And Derrick Henry, you look at how he's stepped out for Tannehill back when the free agency period was there. So I'm not sure exactly what it is that they do love about him, but they talk about the toughness. That's something that just seems to come up consistently. But, at the end of the day, I don't know that toughness alone is going to win you a Super Bowl or even get you there. And for me, if you're going to have him be your game manager, you got to really, really push the roster around him. But in being that game manager, as I said before, you cannot turn the football over. And that was where he turned into a pumpkin from that perspective last year.
What got me was Joe brought this up yesterday, Joe Rexroad, which I think is probably fair, and that is those dudes love Mariota too. And you were there. There was nothing not to like about Mariota other than the fact that Mariota really started struggling there at the end. But it's almost like the coach and general manager, you and I both know that they'll never tell you exactly what they're thinking. Yeah. But I do wonder, maybe they do think because of the toughness or the attitude or the personality or all the things that Mike Tannenbaum loved about Tannehill or all the things that the city got swept up in 2019, maybe that's what they see in it. Do you think, given the cap situation they're in, that Vrabel and Robinson would be as gung-ho with Tannehill, even if they weren't as truly in love with him as they say publicly?
That's a tough call. And, here's the thing. Ryan Tannehill was one of those guys one of those quarterbacks that he provides just enough moments for you to be like, you know what, we can do it with him. You know, you look at the Texans game. Granted, it was against the Texans, but I mean, I even wrote about it, right? That, you know, a reborn, confident Ryan Tannehill poised to lead the Titans in the playoffs. You know, and that's the thing I think that they continue to hold on to are those moments where he shows them potential to be that dude for them, you know, for them. I have to emphasize for them, because you look at how you have to, and you look at what Mike Vrabel said, you have to be great around him, right? So, I mean, that tells you they understand that he's not Josh Allen. He's not Patrick Mahomes. He's not Joe Burrow. He's not Lamar Jackson, Justin Herbert. But he's the guy for them as long as they're great around him.
What do you think about all the people that say that it's the coordinator's fault, not Tannehill's fault?
Yeah, it's tough to say that, you know, because these people also rant about, you know, Todd Downing not getting A.J. Brown and Julio Jones the football. If I call a play, like if Coach Downing calls a play with one of those guys as the first read and the quarterback comes off of it, is that the quarterback or is that Todd Downing? Right? So I think you have to look at all that. And I mean, granted, there could be some more creativity. There could be a little less, you know, predictability, you know, but at the same time, I think the offense did well for the most part. It did take a step back from last year, but I don't think that's all on Todd Downing at all.
I just think that fans blame coordinators when they don't want to blame, like, the head coach, or they don't want to blame the quarterback. Like in Dallas, everybody blames McCarthy for everything bad that happens there. And I'm not saying they shouldn't blame McCarthy, which, again, when it goes back to the Brian Flores allegations, it's like, how is that guy coaching and other guys aren't never mind. But nobody ever blames Kellen Moore in Dallas. All they do is tell us how great of a coach Kellen Moore is. And I've had coaches, you know, ex-coaches in the NFL that are like, I'm not sure Kellen Moore's that great of a coach. And I'm like, well, you can't see anybody on TV that says that. Here, nobody blames Vrabel. And there is blame for Tannehill, but I feel like a lot of fans have moved off their blame on Tannehill and put it on Downing. And who was John Elway's coordinator? Who was Peyton Manning's coordinator? You know, who's like, for me, I have a hard time just completely throwing Downing under the bus.
Yeah. No, I agree. I can't just throw him under the bus. And it's tough. And actually on Talking with TD this week, I had James Foster on, No Flags Film, and he made a really good point. I mean, unless you know, like, the details of the play calling, it's very difficult to really, say a play caller should be fired or say a coordinator is doing a terrible job, because there's so many things that go into it that we don't know. And I think, in my opinion, it's tough to really bang on a guy when you don't know everything that's going on in the play call and just how that call itself was executed.
TD's with us. Get your questions in for TD at the end of the hour, as we always do. 615-737-1025 is the phone number. Saturday night, minding my own business. I'm in Louisville, Kentucky. Went to the basketball game, and TD is texting me about a Matt Corral breakdown of the All-22. If you look at TD's Twitter, he's all over it. The Senior Bowl practices are going on as we speak. So, what do we think about the class of 22 quarterbacks? TD, who has been breaking it down, will give us his early thoughts. We'll do that next, right here on Stillman & Company, delivered by TriStar Moving. Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical. I absolutely love my friends at Hiller. They've been taking care of my home for 4 years now. I can't believe it's 4 years. 4 years they've been taking care of my home, and it's been 4 of the best plumbing, heating, cooling, and electrical years of my life. Hiller has extended their lower 2021 pricing through January so that they could help customers tackle necessary replacements. And it was so popular that they are extending the special for 1 more month, all of this month. This will be the lowest pricing expected all year. You've noticed all the inventory shortages and empty shelves everywhere, and now there are serious shortages on equipment and products for your home. HVAC systems, tankless water heaters, and generators are going to be extremely limited in 2022. And because of supply issues and rising costs of parts, manufacturers are rapidly increasing the price of this equipment. If you need a replacement, call my friends at Hiller today. Don't wait until you are out of options. Hiller's work is backed by the Happy You'll Be or Services Free guarantee, and you can learn more at happyhiller.com. Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical. My guys, call the Happy Face Truck today.
Hi, I'm Yussi Saros. And this is Smashville.
Now here's a try off to the side. What a stop made by UC Saros there.
Unreal. You're listening to the flagship of the Nashville Predators radio network. ESPN 1025, The Game.
They've rocked over 35 million fans around the world.
It's my
Bon Jovi, the 2022 tour. Bridgestone Arena, Saturday, April 30th. Get tickets this Friday at 10 a.m. at livenation.com. Bon Jovi, all their anthems for one incredible night. Presented by Hampton Water. For more, check bonjovi.com.
Hey, Darren McFarland here, and I want to talk to you about my friends at Courtside CBD. You hear me talk about them every single day because they present Darren, Donick, and Chase, and we are proud to be associated with them and happy about it. And if you have aches and pains, on your body, whether it's from working out, being active, getting older, and you're looking for a solution, well, I've got it. Courtside CBD. Courtside means healing, and that says a lot. Courtside is locally and organically sourced CBD products right here in Middle Tennessee. From seed to final sale, Courtside is passionate about providing quality products for everyday use, including your pets. And you've heard me tell this story. Our female German Shepherd has had seizures for over 3 years, and lots of them. No matter how many pills a day she was on, the vet visits, nothing changed. But since putting her on the pet tincture, everything has changed. The seizures have stopped, she's lost weight, and she's a dog again. Right now, Courtside CBD has got a special offer for DDC listeners. Go to CourtsideCompany.com, get 25% off your order by using the code DDC25 at checkout. DDC25 at checkout for 25% off your Courtside CBD products. It's Courtside CBD, curated for life.
Music City. Start a profitable new chapter of your life and be your own boss with your very own Little Guys Movers franchise. In fact, no matter where you are, from Green Hills to the Gulch to down in Franklin, if you can hear my voice, there's an affordable, profitable Little Guys franchise opportunity nearby. Use your existing 401k to invest in yourself. Financing options are available. Join a team with 30 plus years of growth and good times. Learn more at littleguysfranchise.com. That's littleguysfranchise.com. And then make that call.
If you suffer from chronic joint pain, don't assume that steroid shots, pain pills, and surgery are your only options. You can call now to get real, lasting, life-changing relief from QC Kinetics. QC Kinetics is the nation's leader in using biologic therapies to repair damaged tissue in your aching joints. The success rate is staggering. People with knee and back pain, shoulder pain, hip pain, they're moving again, enjoying life again with help from QC Kinetics. This advanced, unique treatment protocol uses natural biologic agents, mostly from your own body. These powerful, highly concentrated growth factors are put directly into your affected joint, going to work to soothe the inflammation and restore damaged tissue. A truly regenerative treatment. No surgery, no drugs, no downtime. Finally, a new, different, highly successful approach to dealing with joint pain. Is it time you got a second opinion? Call the local medical professionals at QC Kinetics now. 615-249-4024. 615-249-4024. That's 615-249-4024 for QC Kinetics.
ESPN's Turon Davenport breaks down the Titans like no other.
On the field chemistry, I don't think it's going to be a problem. It's just going to be a process.
Catch TD Mondays at 11, Thursdays at 3, and Fridays at 8. Plus, the Talking with TD podcast drops every Wednesday.
When you draft players, it's not just for one season, it's for a career.
Presented by FreedomTireGuys.com, Nashville's premier mobile tire company. Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
1025 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Hey, Nashville, Trey Wingo here. You're listening to Nashville's best sports talk, ESPN 1025 The Game.
TD Power Hour presented by FreedomTireGuys.com. So I did see a report. Chrissy Freud tweeted out that she was at the Senior Bowl in Mobile talking with Carson Strong, the quarterback at Nevada. Mm-hmm. And apparently Carson Strong has said that he's met with several teams at the Senior Bowl, said that he felt his meetings with Washington, the Saints, the Steelers, the Eagles, and the Titans went really well. Now, the Titans are going to meet with a lot of people at the Senior Bowl, so this shouldn't be something that's too over the top, but it does show that the Titans are at least meeting with Carson Strong, one of the quarterbacks out of Nevada, who's going to be in this quarterback class. TD, I know you have been looking at the tape of these quarterbacks that are available. We are told by everybody that this is a bad quarterback class. Now, I don't know if that's true or not. I haven't evaluated them. You've begun the early tape study. What have you seen?
Yeah, I'll say this. Some people will say it's a bad quarterback class, but you could absolutely get playmakers in this quarterback group. And I think that's the exact term that applies to Malik Willis. And just from all accounts down there in Mobile, Malik Willis put on a show. And in watching some of these practice tape that we have access to, I agree. And I think really the separation was yesterday, where despite the elements, he still was driving the football, down the field, pushing it towards the sideline and those type of things, and just making all the throws necessary. And he even showed a little bit of his athleticism, making some moves in the pocket to elude what would have been pressure. So he's a guy that's probably the premier playmaker out of all the quarterbacks. But I think this is a solid group. I won't say it has the same type of sizzle as last year's group does, but you could definitely get players.
So I just always want people to tell me what defines a bad quarterback draft. So in 2016, Goff and Wentz went 1-2, and neither of those guys are franchise guys. So is that a good quarterback class because there was a guy 1-2, or was Boomer Esiason and Jeff Hostetler a bad quarterback class, even though those guys won a lot of games? Like, that's, they went in the second round, the first two quarterbacks off the board in 84. And so that's a bad quarterback class because there's not a first round quarterback there, but those guys were probably better than Goff and Wentz. And so I just, to me, it's all about the individual player. If the Titans get a good quarterback, then it doesn't matter if it was a good quarterback class or not. What have you seen from the tape so far?
Yeah, I tell you another guy I really like, and that's Carson Strong. And I posted a good amount of videos of him, and it's fun watching him play. I usually gravitate towards more athletic quarterbacks that could, make plays on the run and just, you move the pocket and you do those type of things. But it's hard to deny the arm strength that Carson Strong has. And there were multiple times where I saw him on the opposite hash push the ball to the sideline with authority and with zip. And then there's another one where he pushed the ball 60-plus yards down the field, dropping the bucket throw. So I really like that. One of the things I also look at in quarterbacks is, and that's what I like about watching the All-22 when they include the down and distance, I like to see how guys come through on third down. And so far, I've watched 5 different quarterbacks, but Carson Strong was the most consistent as far as making plays on third down that I've watched. So he's someone that I really like. There is a bit of a limitation as far as mobility is concerned, but he can move within the pocket enough to be able to, avoid pressure and buy some extra time that way. So he's definitely an impressive player.
Who does he remind you of? Is there an NFL quarterback that you see with a big guy doesn't move that well but can throw the way he does?
Honestly, when I was watching him, I got thoughts of Phillip Rivers just because of the big arm and the ability to literally throw the ball to anywhere on the field. But one of the guys down there in Mobile, he said his name is Jeff Risdon. He writes for the Lions Wire of USA Today, covering the Detroit Lions. And he said Derek Anderson, the former Browns quarterback. And I like that comparison, actually. That's a really good one.
What did you think? You texted me you don't like Matt Corral. Why not?
Yeah, so Matt Corral is a guy that a lot of it was schemed for him. Lane Kiffin did some really good things to get guys open, a lot of RPOs, wide open passing. But in addition to that, one of the things that I didn't like about him is he runs too much. And some of it that I watched, you could tell it was a called run, but there are other times where it's like, you know what, you can hang out a little bit more in the pocket and make a throw, or you don't have to tuck it and run so much. And it's almost like running around with like a chicken with his head cut off. And I didn't really like that. He was pretty consistent, like throwing slants and those type of things. not as much accuracy down the field as some of the other guys that I watched. So that's what I didn't like about Corral.
Do you think that people can talk themselves into like a Patrick Mahomes type of guy, runs around, throws the ball kind of, or do you think it's more, guys getting nervous? Johnny Manziel runs around, tries to throw the ball kind of guy.
Yeah, I don't think you talking about with Corral.
Yeah.
Yeah, you listen. You can't. It's blasphemy to include him in the same paragraph, not sentence, paragraph as Patrick Mahomes. I'll put it to you that way, and that's not me trying to trash Matt Corral, because he's obviously a very capable quarterback. He just doesn't have what I like in quarterbacks. And again, like I get like the playmaking aspect, but he doesn't have the arm that Mahomes has and the ability to, make plays that way. So I wouldn't put them in the same category at all.
Do you think all these guys are going to be available for the Titans at 26, or do you think that eventually these guys are going to get elevated up into the draft, where right now it's like, oh, no top 10 quarterbacks, and then, Malik Willis plays well at the Senior Bowl, Kenny Pickett, somebody convinces themselves they love them, and then all of a sudden, like last year, there's 5 guys gone before the 15th pick.
Yeah, I think I would be surprised if Malik Willis falls past the Steelers, just from what's coming out of Mobile.
And they're picking 20, right?
Yeah, Mike Tomlin seems to be in love with Malik Willis. So, and he is basically the guy that, Ty McShay has him number 1. Mel Kiper has him number 1 as far as quarterback rankings. So I would say he probably won't be available, but I fully believe Carson Strong will be available. I believe Desmond Ridder. I don't know if you heard him say that, he models his game after part of Deshaun Watson, like in-game playmaking, but then ball control or something along those lines, Ryan Tannehill. So that was interesting to see. Ridder is another guy I like. Going in, he wanted to make sure that he showed that he had deep ball accuracy. And, I watched a couple games. You watched the Notre Dame game. He was impressive in that one. A big arm, was able to get it to the receivers really well, very elusive in the pocket. There was a wheel route that he threw against Notre Dame to the tight end, and the pressure was bearing down on him, and it was a beautiful throw. So he's someone else. You could get him on the move. You could do a lot of the things that the Titans like, even if you manufacture a pick, by moving down, to the bottom of the first, top of the second, that range, I think you could get a guy like Desmond Ridder. And I think, for what this Titans team wants to do, he, in my opinion, is the best fit for them out of all these guys. Although, I really like Carson Strong, but I just don't know that he would work for, a team that does a lot of boot action and those type of things.
So wait a minute. Was it Ridder that said he models his game partly after Tannehill?
Yes. I'll tell you exactly.
What a suck-up comment. That Luke Fickell told him, what, this goes back to, like, does Vrabel really love Tannehill as much as he says? Clearly he does, because Vrabel's probably told Fickell how much he freaking loves Tannehill. And so Fickell probably said, hey, Desmond, go there and talk about how much you love Ryan Tannehill, and that will get the Titans in their feels.
Yeah, he said Deshaun Watson for decision-making and athletic ability, and Ryan Tannehill because of longevity, also game management, and he's also a great player.
Oh, no. He's good. There you go, 26th overall. Desmond Ridder. There it goes, 26, because he sucked up to Tannehill, and the Titans love Tannehill. Get your questions in for TD. It's all on the board. We got the Brian Flores stuff. We got the tanking. We've got the Aaron Rodgers gossip. We've got Tannehill. We've got Desmond Ridder sucking up. We've got all the quarterbacks in the draft, 615-737-1025. It's all on the table for TD. TD Power Hour is presented by FreedomTireGuys.com right here, Stillman & Company. It's ESPN 1025 The Game.
From Fox 17 News, this is a Code Red weather alert.
I'm Fox 17 News Code Red meteorologist Dan Guthrie. Falling temperatures the rest of the afternoon and evening means rain will try to switch over to freezing rain, so watch out for slick spots tonight and tomorrow morning.
This weather report brought to you by Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical.
Call the Happy Face Truck today. Are you hiring? Then check out Indeed. Schedule virtual interviews and talk to candidates right from your employer dashboard. Visit Indeed.com/credit.
Genesis Diamonds has everything you need to create the perfect Valentine's experience. A romantic gift, some fresh flowers, chocolates, and dinner out on us. That's right. Genesis has put together the ultimate Valentine's package. When you buy any piece of jewelry for just $99 or more, we'll give you a bouquet of flowers from Jenny's Flowers, some yummy chocolates, and a gift card for dinner at STK Steakhouse. At Genesis, love and romance are what we do best. So we've created this amazing one-stop offer so you can spend quality time with the one you love this Valentine's. We've pulled together some wonderful Valentine gift ideas as well. Rings, earrings, pendants, bracelets, bands, affordable, timeless gifts she can enjoy for years. So bring the sparkle and the romance with one-stop shopping at Genesis. Spend just $99 or more with us and get the flowers, the chocolates, and a gift card for dinner as our gift. Happy Valentine's Day from Genesis Diamonds, Green Hills and Cool Springs. Limited quantity. See store for details.
My crusade for the perfect pizza crust has led me here, pining over a backyard wood-fired oven. But how do I bake this build into my budget? Where can I get some solid guidance on my finances? Who can help me understand if I have the dough for this?
A little financial advice. At Regions, we know that's important because your Life Green checking account comes with Greenprint. Financial planning with a banker who will help you create a personal budget and live in the moment. Make your appointment at regions.com/greenprint. Regions Bank, member FDIC.
Nashville's best deal of the week is the Mainstay Bar and Grill in East Nashville. The Mainstay is located at 501 Main Street and is your local spot to enjoy all your sports along with great food and friends. With over 25 TVs, 20 taps, and nightly events like trivia and much more, you can't go wrong. The Mainstay Bar and Grill. Good drinks, good people, good times. Head to thegamenashville.com/deals now to get half off a $30 gift card to the Mainstay while supplies last.
Hey, it's Chase McCabe of Darren, Donick, and Chase. I started my radio career as an intern right here at ESPN 102.5 The Game. Now we're looking for our next great batch of interns. You think that's you? Send your resume to together@cromwellmedia.com to apply today.
Meshing journalism.
They are 2 scores behind you. The math says that increases your chances of winning.
With sports fandom.
I stayed up till 1:30 in the morning, just emotionally numb from Titans and Packers.
And sarcasm.
You guys are the worst.
Robbie Stanley and Joe Rexrode are Robbie and Rexrode. No duh. Weekday mornings from 6 to 10. Brought to you by Little Guys Movers on Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app. Watch live on Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube.
This is Stillman and Company. Delivered by TriStar Moving.
You know, I think it hit me in the last segment. TD Power Hour is presented by FreedomTireGuys.com. It hit me in the last segment that as exciting as it is to talk about Carson Strong and Desmond Ridder, it's a lot more fun to talk gossip about Aaron Rodgers.
It is. It's fun to gab.
TD, it's fun to gossip about Aaron Rodgers.
I guess it's fun for you to imagine how it would be if Aaron Rodgers became quarterback of the Titans. I get it.
Imagination is fun.
You know what, though, TD? You got to practice the imagination, because if that actually happens, like, say there's a tweet that's like, you know, Adam Schefter, sources to ESPN, the Titans are trading 2 first-round picks, a third-round pick, and Ryan Tannehill for Aaron Rodgers, and Rodgers will restructure and sign a new deal in Tennessee or something like that. The second person that's jumping on TV is you. So you may need to be prepared.
Hey, stay ready so you never have to get ready, man.
Time now for questions for TD, 615-737-1025. What do we have? Our phone lines are driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com.
Ryan in Nashville texts in and asks TD, what do you think the Titans will do with their first draft pick? Trade back, go after a certain position, or something else?
Yeah, that's always such a tough question to ask in February. I think if I had to put something on it right now, I would say trade back to try to manufacture more picks. Find a way to get that second round pick back, so now you can add a couple impact players as opposed to one. I think that would really be the thing that they would look to do. But if they stay, I don't think that they go first round pick on a tight end, right? Trey McBride is interesting, but I don't think they go first round pick there. I think cornerback, or if they could get a slot receiver, you know, a guy like Traylon Burks, if he should happen to be there from Arkansas, that would be a perfect pick at 26, because that's exactly what you're looking to do with a guy like Ryan Tannehill, right? He gets you a lot of those free yards, and you can use him in a way similarly to how the 49ers use Deebo Samuel.
I hope it's offensive line. You want to know why?
Because you hope that Aaron Rodgers is coming in here?
No, well, if it's Aaron Rodgers, they ain't picking in the first round if Aaron Rodgers is coming here, because that's going to be used to get Aaron. I want to see everybody go nuts when they pick an offensive lineman.
And it's so interesting how people get upset about that, but when you pick an offensive lineman and you hit on that one, you got a foundation piece for 10 years. Look at Taylor Lewan. So.
No, I mean, hey, Bruce Matthews, Brad Hopkins, everybody loved those guys back in the day. Those are first-round picks. But the fans are going to go nuts if they take an offensive lineman, and I'm tired of being the one who always goes nuts. So I want them to go nuts at least for once. Adam is in Portland and is up next. Of course, he's calling the TD Power Hour because we yelled at him yesterday. Adam, go ahead.
Well, he's the only one that makes any sense. So I'm going to talk to him. Teron, how crazy does he sound, man? All right, so I'm just kind of beating my head against the wall because I feel like the Titans, if they're thinking like Jared, we're going to win 4 games next year. That's it, because they're not focusing on the right things. You've got like 3 or 4 little gaps that you need to replace. The quarterback's not one. If you fix the things that you refused to fix last offseason, tight end, and don't draft a tight end. I agree. Get one in free agency that can actually run routes, that knows how to run routes. And fix a couple things on the line, and you got a pretty good offense. So I'm hoping. When I Google Aaron Rodgers, Jared Stillman's name comes up all over it. So he's the only one talking about it, and I feel like it's a crazy thing to be talking about.
Is there a question for TD?
I'll say this. He was able to unearth that Aaron Rodgers is buying a house here in Nashville, and he's just kind of connecting the dots. He reached out to some people, and they said that, to their knowledge, Rodgers is open to playing for the Titans. And I think it's, in this platform, talk radio, it's a good thing to talk about. Now, it may not be as juicy for me, but I think, again, in this platform, talk radio, it is a good topic to have, and it's something to think about. And, I mean, if that were to happen, watch out. So I get where that's coming from. I agree with the caller, though, about the tight end situation. This is why, I've mentioned David Njoku as a guy that they should really look at. But even if they don't draft one first round, you could get later guys. Isaiah Likely is one. You look at Cole Turner out of Nevada is another. There are guys that you can get later.
By the way, TD's so right. It is such a talk radio topic.
It is.
It is such a talk radio topic. The one thing I will say about the Aaron Rodgers being open to the Titans, and Caroline, you can back me up on this. Mm-hmm. If I told everybody who the source was, you would be like, oh, okay, all right. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Okay.
Very reliable source. Alex texts in and says, do you think we should go and get a cheaper option at quarterback to push Tannehill like Gardner Minshew or Ryan Fitzpatrick if he continues to suck, put them in?
No, I wouldn't do that. I honestly, at this point, if you're not going to have Woodside as your backup, draft a Desmond Ridder, a Carson Strong. In my opinion, Desmond Ridder is tailor-made for this Titans team. So I would say draft him, because here's why. They're up against it cap-wise. You already have a large amount invested in the quarterback position, $38.6 million to be exact. So to add a Gardner Minshew, who will probably be at I didn't mean to make his stomach hurt. To add, probably a $5 to $10 million backup quarterback, it wouldn't really make sense in my opinion, because I think when you do that, you're just worsening the problem and increasing the portion of the cap that you have invested in a position that just clearly isn't one that's on par with the other top teams in the division, or in the league rather.
Canadian Titan texts in and asks, who do you think is the biggest riser who is increasing their draft stock from the Senior Bowl?
There's a few. Malik Willis, as I mentioned earlier. Cole Strange out of Tennessee, Chattanooga. I've really enjoyed watching end zone, the tight one-on-ones, O-line, D-line. He's a guy that's rising. Zion Johnson, who played alongside Tyler Vrabel. He's a guy that's rising. Who else? Jordan Reed, who we're going to have on next week, ESPN's NFL draft analyst. One of the guys along with Kuiper and McShay. He said that Christian Watson out of North Dakota State is rising as well. So there's different guys. There's a good group of guys that are. I can't forget Jeremiah Johnson from Florida State. He's another one that's really impressed down there.
Another texter texts in and asks your thoughts on how the Titans could handle middle linebacker. He says, I think keeping Zach Cunningham is a must and use Rice as a backup.
Yeah, and you can't forget about that guy, David Long. Cannot forget about one of my favorite Titans to watch, and David Long. So I think they're in a good place. And these mocks that you see where you have like different linebackers going to the Titans in the first round, I don't know that I necessarily agree with that. I think that they are set, but you do have that $10 million cap number on Cunningham that you're going to have to figure out, okay, is it worth this number, or can we figure out a way to get that down so that other guys can be retained or even signed? And I think that's something that the Titans brass has to look at.
Here's my question for TD, because I asked you this earlier today during a break.
Mm-hmm.
Did the Cincinnati game ruin me?
I said emphatically yes.
They're like, there's nothing that matters to me except for the quarterback now. It's all I can think about when it comes to the Titans. It's like, was it so traumatic from the Cincinnati game, TD, that I am no longer a functioning off-season pundit?
I think it's never bad to look to upgrade a position if that's possible. And when you apply that to the most important position on the field, it's reasonable. So I understand you looking at different ways that your team can improve that quarterback position. I get it. And, the thing that's interesting to me is these interceptions, there are things that you can, and Chris Sanders and I, we discussed a couple of interceptions last week, but you can't really explain these ones away. These were egregious interceptions,
He tried, though,
I think
TD.
that's where the problem. And it made sense. Like, I fully understand that first one. Yeah, Julio Jones, he needs to, break his route off better and come back to the football more. And there does need to be, on the backside of that, there has to be a vertical route to make that safety have some type of concern. But what did the safety say? He stared down the receiver where he was going to go. So that tells you right there, and my thing is, I get where you're coming from, just as far as looking at ways to improve that position. But I don't think they're going to do that.
Well, you know what title we just gave Chris Sanders, right?
What?
He's the president of the Boohoo Tannehill crew. He and Lawan and Byard and Vrabel and Mike Tannenbaum, the Boohoo Tannehill crew, and Chris is the president. We've decided.
He's the president. Well, I think they're going to keep him. So you might join that Boohoo Tannehill club, but just for different reasons.
I think they're going to keep him too. TD, as always, talking with TD is out. He'll be on tomorrow. Great draft coverage as well from TD on Twitter. Appreciate you, TD.
Yeah, you got it. Appreciate you.
Yep, Teron Davenport joining us as always. And again, I think the Cincinnati game maybe broke me.
I think I know for certain the Cincinnati game broke me.
Oh, it broke me. It would be okay if we could all be reasonable and all have the same opinion that Tannehill blew the game. But he won't.
That's not going to happen.
He wouldn't take ownership for it after the game. The team won't throw him under the bus for it. If
everyone admitted to it, you still wouldn't feel better.
If everybody could admit to it that, hey, he blew the game, and we're one last crack at it with him because there's no other option, and they were honest with us about it, I can live with it.
I still don't think you could.
Maybe not.
Yeah.
615-737-1025. Are the Titans for sure out of the quarterback market. We know that Aaron may be interested in coming to the Titans, but Jason Fitz had an interesting take on Robinson's comments that I want to discuss next. I'm going to come to the ESPN 102.5 The Game.
Take us wherever you may go.
There are two guys on my untouchable list.
Tune us in anywhere, anytime.
Every team's got those. That's my point.
Just search The Game Nashville in your app store and download today. And keep it locked on Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 The Game.
ElectronicExpress.com. We make it happen.
Preds fans, the huge outdoor game at Nissan Stadium is coming up on February 26th, and you have a great chance to win tickets, plus save lives by donating blood. We're out here at the grand opening of the new Blood Assurance in Hermitage at 4686 Lebanon Pike. Stop by today and register to win a pair of tickets to the big game. Plus, we will be giving away to one lucky winner a limited edition Preds Stadium Series jersey. Come see us at the all-new Blood Assurance location in Hermitage, where we're giving away Preds Stadium game tickets all day.
Hey, it's Elijah Campbell from Darren, Donick, and Chase, and I got my radio start right here as an intern at ESPN 102.5 The Game. It was an excellent experience, and we're now looking for new interns. If you think that's you, go ahead and send your resume over to together@cromwellmedia.com to apply.
The IRS is ramping up collection, and if you owe back taxes or have years of unfiled tax returns, listen carefully. Before it's too late, check your eligibility for the Fresh Start program still offered by the IRS to reduce or even eliminate your tax problems. Call our special hotline number now and find out in minutes if you qualify for these life-changing debt reduction programs. Business or personal, if you're in a payment plan with no end in sight, have unfiled tax returns, under audit, have a wage or bank levy, or finally just want to know your options, call the experts at Republic Tax Relief and stop collections immediately. A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau with a 5-star rating from Yelp, this veteran-owned company has the fight you need to take on the IRS. Don't go at it alone. Call their hotline number now, 800-819-1120. That's 800-819-1120. Find out if you qualify today. Call 800-819-1120 or go to republictaxrelief.com.
Beach Bar Rum, Santo, and Sammy's Beach Bar Cocktails present Sammy Hagar and the Circle. March 8th, Ryman Auditorium. Sammy, Michael, Vic, Jason. Tickets on sale now. Buy tickets at Ryman.com. Sammy Hagar and the Circle. Sponsored by PNC Bank and Access. Proud partners of Ryman Auditorium.
Get big game ready and score amazing deals at Electronic Express. Bring the action to your living room with 4K TVs from Samsung, LG, Sony, Hisense, TCL, and more. We've also got huge savings in every department. Computers and gaming, smart home, housewares, and more. The game wouldn't be complete without the food, so save up to 40% on all appliances with up to 36 months free financing. Electronic Express has what you need to get big game ready. We make it happen.
From the Hillside Medical Game Studios, WPRT-FM Pegram, WPUC HD2 Laverne, with Stillman and Company.
Surprise, surprise!
I write down what was good, what was bad.
Afternoons from 2 to 6.
On ESPN
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
A Cromwell Media Station.
Live from the Game Nashville studios, it's Stillman and Company. Delivered by TriStar Moving. TriStar Movers with 5-star service. With Jared Stillman on Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Stillman and Company is delivered by TriStar Moving. ESPN 102.5 The Game, streaming live on Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook Live. Thanks to the law offices of Amanda Gentry. Caroline Fenn, do you like your job?
I love my job. I do.
Okay. Do you really?
I love it, yeah.
Do you want to get another job? Like
no.
Right now? Okay.
I'm pretty set where I am.
Like you're not looking for other jobs?
Well, if somebody came up to me and said, hey, Caroline, would you like to do color for the Super Bowl? I'd say, sure.
So
yes.
If they wanted to kick Chris Collinsworth out and put you in, you would leave this job to go do that?
Yes.
Really? But you just told me that you love your job.
I do love my job, but that doesn't mean that I'm in the market for a better job.
Okay, so the Titans have a quarterback, and they say they love their quarterback, right?
They say they do.
John Robinson, he is our quarterback. Indianapolis, Their general manager said, I don't want to comment on who's going to be on the roster next year. Their coach, now's not the time and place to talk about it. They don't want to talk about it. They didn't want. Remember Sean McVay last year? Jared's our quarterback right now. But when you say right now, that means not.
Not necessarily in the future. Does it not mean that?
But when we read the Robinson comments on Tuesday, where he said he's our quarterback, I almost was sent to tears that the idea that the Titans could not be looking to upgrade at the position after Ryan Tannehill cost them the playoffs and the number 1 seed, and that we're going to have to watch that Bengals team that the Titans should have beaten in the Super Bowl. But then I started thinking, and I wondered, if Aaron Rodgers is out there, and as we reported, Aaron Rodgers is open to joining the Titans, could that change Robinson's mind a little bit? And I thought, well, but wait a minute. Robinson already said Tannehill's the guy. So if he changes his opinion on that, then wouldn't everybody look at him cross-eyed? And so we had Jason Fitz, ESPN Radio, on our show yesterday, and I asked Fitz, isn't the national media going to look at Robinson and say, wait a minute, you just said this and now this? What do you make of that? Here's what Fitz said.
I think John Robinson, because there's less profile on the Titans so often, has the opportunity to just kind of play the game however he wants to play it. Like, I don't think he would be nationally victimized for either side of it. If he said he's our guy and then he isn't, or if he said he's not our guy and they stuck with him, I think people have a different level of compassion and understanding to being human beings in a front office for teams like the Titans than they do for teams like the Cowboys and the Giants, just because they get covered differently. And that's one of the benefits you have in the market. Like, I think it's insane. And like, realistically, if the sticker was different on the helmet and all of a sudden it was the Cowboys we were talking about, it was a team that everybody is obsessed with nationally, would there be the same level of patience with Robinson and Vrabel as there will be going into the next season? The answer to that is hell no, but it allows them to approach this entire situation differently, right or wrong.
All right, what do we think? So Fitz basically says, nobody cares about the Titans, so Robinson can do whatever he wants after saying whatever he wants. Do we think Robinson can do a 180 on this?
Yeah, totally.
Do you think Robinson cares about doing a 180 on this?
Probably does care, probably made those statements knowing that it would get traction, but also, like, it's not dipped in ink, and he's not sworn to, hand on the Bible, swearing that he's telling the truth and the whole truth, so help him God. So he said those comments, I think, in order to stop any sort of conversation that had already been going on, but no one's saying he can't change his mind or walk back on what he said.
So I think he can.
Why not?
Well, and here's the other thing. Ian, remember after the Chiefs win, Amy Adams Strunk put out a statement in which she said that Mike Mularkey was their coach going forward? And we were like, what the hell does that mean? And everybody said, well, I guess this means Mularkey's the coach. And then they lost to the Patriots. And then on Tuesday or Monday, Mularkey was fired. And I remember literally being like, you just told us he was the coach going for, what do you mean? And everybody's like, yeah, like going forward for the Patriot game. And then after that, he's not the.
Yeah. Ryan is our quarterback today.
Well, on February 2nd.
They have to put out a smoke screen. You can't just broadcast to everybody what you're going to do.
Oh, my God, don't do that to me.
That's not like.
It's the truth.
I mean, you can't just throw that out there. What kind of leverage does that give you if you just be like, oh, whatever? You gotta play it out there. You got to dangle it a little.
And he's not lying. Ryan Tannehill is the quarterback of the Tennessee Titans. And, he can say all these things about Tannehill, but at the end of the day, if he wants to change his mind, he can change his mind.
I like your theories.
Do you like them because it confirms what you want to happen?
Of course I do. That's exactly why I like it. That's exactly because, I mean, when you say that, I can then say he didn't say Tannehill will be under center week 1 and be the quarterback. He just said he's our quarterback, just like how guys that are technically unrestricted free agents next year are still technically under contract. So, like, for example, Harold Landry doesn't have a contract for next year, but he's still under contract with the Titans until the new league year starts. Makes some sense to me. I'm interested in every theory that involves a better quarterback in the Titans. I heard on Boston Sports Radio the other day that there's this sense that Brady retired because he thinks Tampa Bay is going downhill and he doesn't want to play for Arians anymore because Arians is so, laissez-faire compared to Belichick. that it's like, okay, we got AB running off the field in the middle of a game. We got guys doing their own thing. It's not the way that it was last year. And so that in theory, Brady could pull the Brett Favre. And Brady could wait until Tampa Bay's moved on and has money committed at quarterback. And then Brady waits so that then he unretires. Tampa can't take on the cap hit, so then Tampa has to move him. And I'm like, oh, my God. Think about this. After June 1st, the Tannehill money cuts in half.
Mm-hmm.
So in theory, love that word, in theory, somebody will take Tannehill for nothing. There are teams that will give you like a third-round pick for Tannehill.
Yeah.
Even though he's got a $29 million salary next year, simply because he's better than Taylor Heineke in Washington.
It's not a great free agent
for the
quarterback
Commanders.
Market. Go Commanders.
The Commanders. The first quarterback of the Washington Commanders, Ryan Tannehill.
In my head, I hear that as Washington Commandos. I've
heard that a bunch too.
Every time.
I feel that too.
Yeah.
But think about this. Again, keyword here. Theory. Brady, okay, I'm really going down a rabbit hole here. Brady pulls the Favre, comes back. Tampa has to release him because they can't pay him.
Uh-huh.
And then Tannehill goes to Washington or Carolina or one of these crap franchises that have no quarterback and no answer at quarterback after June 1st.
Could be Denver.
You take a $9 million hit on Tannehill. Brady's a free agent. You sign Brady, and you don't give up any picks. And you're in cahoots with Brady the whole time because you're tampering through this entire process, just like we think they probably tampered a couple years ago. Your thoughts?
That's a little much.
It is a little too much.
That's a little much
for me. It is a little deep
me.
in the weed. I do wonder, though, do we think the Titans, from a national standpoint, could afford to go back on their comments on Tannehill?
100,000%.
I
yes.
think they could, too.
I
so
think
should we just throw it out the window and not worry about what Robinson said?
I'm not going to throw it out the window because what he said about nobody stares down the blitz better than Tannehill.
Total bull crap, and he knows it.
He knows it. It's almost like comical how false that was.
There
but
must
I also
be a stat. Sorry, there must be a
No, go ahead.
stat somewhere that he found that could back him up on that. You know, like whether or not his QBR against the blitz or something. There has to be something out there to prove that. It's for him to say that. But anyways,
here's the stat
I'm sorry.
I have.
No,
here's the stat I have. 4th down against the Steelers, he threw the ball short of the sticks. That's what I got.
And I just think it's something that's feels nice to say, other than he's a good leader and he's tough and he's a good guy, because all of those are very non-tangible things.
It's like Robinson
and
had
things
to
that
say
I'm sure
a
are very
football
true
thing about Tannehill.
But I go back to what Mike Vrabel said, that, you got to be great around him. I don't take that lightly. That's not a compliment.
D. May said that that's basically admitting that he's not the guy.
Yeah, I mean, that's a very bless your heart moment of like such a backhanded compliment. Oh yeah, Tannehill's got to be great around him. That's not a nice thing to say. I keep going back to that because I hear John Robinson saying Tannehill's our quarterback. Okay, yeah, he is your quarterback today.
That's why everybody thinks you suck. That's why Cincinnati's in the Super Bowl.
I think John Robinson very much so has the right to walk back what he said.
Do you think John Robinson gets as agitated as I do when he sees like a Bengals jersey with a Super Bowl patch on it?
If he doesn't, then that's a serious problem.
I mean, I can't look at that right now.
I mean, if you are a general manager, coach, player in the NFL and it doesn't make you nauseous that your uniform doesn't have that Super Bowl patch on it, you're not in the right industry.
Well, I mean, like, it's going to make, everybody. But I think it's different if you're, like, Buffalo or the Titans.
When you were so close.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, if you're Buffalo, you were 13 seconds away from the Super Bowl.
You were a coin flip away from the Super Bowl.
If the AFC championship game was played in Buffalo, the Bills would have beaten the Bengals.
Mm-hmm.
And I love the Bengals. And,
Do you love the Bengals?
I have nothing against the Bengals.
I feel like you despise their existence.
No. I have no problem with the Bengals. No problem. All of my anger is pinned up towards the Titans. It's like to me, the Titans blew it. The Bengals didn't. I get mad when the Bengals do this, people need to stop doubting us and we'll show them. And it's like, you showing. Are you really doing the showing?
But
I get it.
It's the same thing as the Peloton thing. Like, what else are they to do?
No comeback king on the Ryan Tannehill Peloton.
We're going to call Peloton's marketing department.
No, it's Tannehill's fault. He has to approve it. If they wanted him to do a Peloton ad in a banana hammock, he would have said no. So he approves what they do. That's how
he
these
probably liked
collaborations
it.
work.
Why wouldn't he like it?
Because he's the comeback king. 615-737-1025. Come back right into the hands of the Bengals. 615-737-1025 is our phone number. Plus, the one thing that I feel like the Titans don't care about, I feel like the Titans shouldn't care about, but if they get Aaron Rodgers, how great would it be? That's next. Stillman & Company. It's ESPN 1025 The Game. Every Wednesday, it's me, Jared Stillman, against Joe Rexroad for Jared versus Joe. Brought to you by Parman Tractor and Equipment. Visit ParmanTractor.com, your Middle Tennessee link belt and Takauchi dealer.
Discover thousands of dollars in new tax credits with Jackson Hewitt. Get a head start on your taxes. Schedule an appointment with one of their tax pros and learn more at jacksonhewitt.com.
Are you a father that is passionate about your fundamental constitutional right to parent your own child or children? Has your parenting time or your income been affected by COVID? This is Amanda J. Gentry, and I am a fierce defender of your constitutional rights. The courts in Tennessee are under an obligation to maximize equal parenting time. We do not live in an every other weekend world anymore. At the law offices of Amanda J. Gentry, fathers are extremely important, much like my own father was. Go to AmandaJGentry.com or call or text 615-604-6263. That's AmandaJGentry.com.
If you suffer from chronic joint pain, don't assume that steroid shots, pain pills, and surgery are your only options. You can call now to get real, lasting, life-changing relief from QC Kinetics. QC Kinetics is the nation's leader in using biologic therapies to repair damaged tissue in your aching joints. The success rate is staggering. People with knee and back pain, shoulder pain, hip pain, they're moving again, enjoying life again with help from QC Kinetics. This advanced, unique treatment protocol uses natural biologic agents, mostly from your own body. These powerful, highly concentrated growth factors are put directly into your affected joint, going to work to soothe the inflammation and restore damaged tissue. A truly regenerative treatment. No surgery, no drugs, no downtime. Finally, a new, different, highly successful approach to dealing with joint pain. Is it time you got a second opinion? Call the local medical professionals at QC Kinetics now. 615-249-4024. 615-249-4024. That's 615-249-4024 for QC Kinetics.
This is Stan Harrison, CEO of Apple Collision Centers. We understand that no one likes to deal with auto body repair and the inconvenience it becomes in your day-to-day life. I want to personally invite you to stop by and let our experienced staff see how we can help you make your vehicle look good as new. Apple Collision Center has 3 convenient locations, Old Hickory, Hendersonville, and Gallatin, ready to serve you. Come by and see us or visit us online at applecollisioncenters.com.
Care has the power to bring kindness where it's needed. It brings out the best in every one of us. It doesn't just see people, it takes time to understand them. It puts the needs of others ahead of its own. And when you start with care, you end up with a very different kind of bank. Truist. Truist Bank, member FDIC.
Hey, it's Chase McCabe of Darren, Donick, and Chase. I started my radio career as an intern right here at ESPN 1025 The Game. Now we're looking for our next great batch of interns. You think that's you? Send your resume to together@cromwellmedia.com to apply today.
Interact with Stillman & Company. Call or text the show at 615-737-1025. Driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com.
He just bought a property in Nashville.
Oh, so that was reported, yes.
Yeah. Okay, when did he purchase this property?
Well, the thing is...
Exactly. So, okay, the timing, I think, matters here, guys.
Okay.
Did he just buy it right now?
Asking you, I didn't break this news.
Did he just buy it now, or did he buy this, I don't know, months ago?
Well, you tell us.
I don't know.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, when was it?
I'm saying check the date. Check the date if you think he just bought it.
Does it matter? Okay, so does any of this matter? Why do you think he bought the property in Nashville? Did you ever talk about that? Is it because he wants to go?
He has $1 billion and he wants to live in multiple locations.
He's a billionaire?
There you go, AJ Hawk on the Pat McAfee Show. YouTube, Sirius XM, Mad Dog Radio, Channel 82. Excellent channel. I would tell people that Mad Dog Radio is a great channel. And Pat McAfee Show is a good show. So Pat McAfee, apparently they were talking about our Aaron Rodgers report, and he was grilling AJ Hawk about what this means. And I think there was a little clue in there, by the way. When AJ was like, when was the purchase? That was AJ Hawk, right, Ian, that was saying, hey, when was this purchase?
Yep.
I think he's trying to tell us that Aaron's probably owned this land for a while.
Probably so.
I don't know. I mean, all I know, as Floyd used to say, all a reporter knows how to do is report what they're told. All I know is what I was told, and what I was told is everything that I told you all, except for one detail that I cannot include, that if I included it, I think a lot of people would go, aha. Fair?
I don't know.
You know
what
the detail
you're
I'm
talking
about, right?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there's one minor detail that I cannot tell you. Other than that, everything else would be, is exact. So I don't know when he bought it. I do think A.J. Hawk does give a pretty good clue there when he says, he's got $1 billion and he wants to live in multiple places, which we talked about yesterday on the show. People were like, Nashville, we know better than to trust Jared Stillman. I'm like, well, what I told you is that he bought a house in Williamson County and that he's open to playing for the Titans, and then his Packers teammates do not think he's coming back, and 2 of those 3 things have already been confirmed by A to Z Sports. So, I mean, what are you talking about? We know not to trust Jared Stillman. What does that mean? Just because I have a lot of opinions on the show does not mean that when I tell you the truth on something that it's not true.
And we have also acknowledged several times that we understand that Nashville is a desirable place to live and a lot of celebrities live here, and it's not crazy that he would want to live here.
Especially like the non-vaccine immunization.
Yeah, considering his other
doctor thing that
considering another home that he lives in is in California, which I cannot believe he's incredibly pleased with at the moment. So it makes sense. Yes, we understand that. We've acknowledged that several times.
Can I say one thing about the difference that the Titans would have if Aaron Rodgers was their quarterback?
Well, there are several differences, but yes.
But like this one, that it shouldn't matter to them, and like it matters to me, and it shouldn't matter to me, but it does. And like the GM wouldn't care about this, but I overlooked this with the Brady stuff. Like I was pro Tannehill over Brady, and then Brady signs with Tampa Bay, and all of a sudden I see Jenna Lane, who I had never heard of before, on TV,
Bucks reporter,
like every day.
Yeah,
and it's like all the time. I'm like, oh my God, if Tom Brady had come to the Titans, how different would this be? Like our entire lives about all the stuff that and
Titans might have a Super Bowl.
Titans had one Sunday night football game last year. They had one Sunday night football game the year before that. Here are the Titans' opponents: Washington, Houston, Indy, Jacksonville. At Kansas City. If Aaron that game last year against Kansas City was played at noon on CBS. If Aaron Rodgers is the quarterback of the Tennessee Titans, that game is either Sunday Night Football or it is 3:30 and it is Jim Nantz, Tony Romo.
100%.
No way around that.
Rodgers, Mahomes.
At the Chargers.
Definitely a 3:30 Sunday game.
That might be a Monday night game.
Maybe.
Where it's not a premier game, but you still want to get Aaron Rodgers and Herbert on TV. Mm-hmm. That at the Chargers. At Philly, that's probably a noon kickoff, but I could see, Fox, say, NFC team, let's put them on there. Okay, whatever.
Maybe even a Thursday game.
Home games. Houston, Indy, Jacksonville. Throw it away. Denver at home. That's probably a late game because Denver's out west, so they probably play that game at 3 o'clock anyways, but probably nothing special. Maybe, because, again, you've got Aaron Rodgers.
Right.
So they could convince themselves, hey, there's no good game that week. Let's Monday Night Football,
Mm-hmm.
Versus the Raiders. 3:30.
3:30.
Late game. Rodgers. Versus Dallas.
Oh, my God. Sunday night. Sunday night, baby.
Here's why this wouldn't be Sunday night. The way that it works, and now it's different because you can get some AFC games on Fox now, but the way that it traditionally works is that Fox gets the NFC road games until they cross-flex for whatever reason.
Mm-hmm.
Fox may go to the league and say, no, we want Aikman and Buck with the Dallas game, and they may protect it. Now, again, the league picks ultimately, but that is either Sunday night or that is the Joe Buck game of the week.
Probably so.
No way around it. Versus the Giants. It's New York.
That is true.
At Buffalo.
Oh, my gosh. Ian?
Oh, you think that's so? Now we've got what? 3 for sure at Kansas City,
Dallas,
at Buffalo.
Buffalo.
Okay. At home, Cincinnati. Okay. At Green Bay.
Oh my gosh.
That like they may go to Jeff Bezos if the Titans trade for Aaron Rodgers. They may go to Jeff Bezos and say, "We are going to have the first Amazon Thursday night game ever as Tennessee at Green Bay, but you have to give us an extra $1 billion right now." And
also,
he might do it.
And also, we want Mike Vrabel on the next, Bezos thing to the moon.
Sure, I don't care, but like honestly, they may go to Bezos and say, "We want $1 billion extra, and you get Rodgers returned to Green Bay week 2."
He'd be like, "Sure,"
and he may do it.
Fine.
He might do it.
No, he's not going to give out $1 billion.
No, but the moral of the story here is that the Titans become infinitely more popular.
It would be a premier game.
The moral of the story is that the Titans become infinitely more popular if they trade for Aaron Rodgers. And while I don't think the Titans care about that, like I don't think the Titans brass like Robinson cares about noon kickoff for Sunday Night Football, you do wonder, like, if you own the team, if you think, man, could you just, like, the value of my franchise goes up significantly
100%.
if Aaron Rodgers, the cost of my tickets go way up if Aaron Rodgers is my quarterback. The TV games
the TV
we
slots
get,
are more premier.
The amount of people around the country that would be Titan fans, like those things matter to an owner.
Just the discussion, period, about the Titans.
And there's a difference between hiring Rex Ryan to be your coach because it'll sell some tickets and like Aaron Rodgers or Tom Brady as your quarterback. Look, that Tampa Bay franchise is a dump hole franchise. Like it is just a dumpy franchise. Like Cleveland, like the Jets, like Jacksonville,
Detroit.
I mean, it's like Cincinnati traditionally.
Yeah.
Like it's a crap. You get Joe Burrow, totally different
You're in the Super
story. Indianapolis may have lost the Colts if it wasn't for Peyton Manning.
That is
And again,
crazy.
you're not getting Peyton's career. Like you're not getting Rodgers is a young guy and he's here for 20 years.
You get his name.
But you're getting Rodgers for 2 or 3 years with that schedule. Oh, my God. Tickets for the Dallas game would be like $1,000 a piece to sit in the upper bowl where you're high-fiving the big man upstairs.
The nosebleeds.
Oh, my goodness gracious. Phone 615-737-1025. Phone line driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com.
One texter texts in and says John Robinson did an interview with Buck Rising yesterday and said he was looking forward to Ryan Tannehill, quote, getting back in there, staying on track, and getting this thing going. I interpreted that as Ryan will return for next season.
So I interpret that as the same way, but I will say at the same time that we just all decided that John Robinson can lie to us if the situation changes. And this is where it goes back to the fact that everybody around the country is talking about Aaron Rodgers and the Titans. And if that maybe sparks a light bulb in somebody's head that's making a decision and that then they decide, okay, let's go in this direction with Aaron. You know, what seemed like such a pipe dream is now, hey, you know.
Could be a reality.
What about that? You know, let's see about that. I told the story about how Mike and the Mad Dog in New York got Mike Piazza away from the Cubs and to the Mets, and things like that happened. What was also funny about that was like Mike and the Mad Dog talk about that like it is pure truth. Now, the general manager at the time of the Mets, Steve Phillips, says it's not true.
Mm-hmm.
When they ended up getting Piazza, like that was in the Mike and the Mad Dog 30 for 30. And I told Floyd about it, and he just like thought that was the stupidest thing that he ever heard. That the two talk radio guys in New York convinced the Mets to trade for Mike Piazza instead of Mike Piazza going to the Cubs. So because of his like fervent denial, I believe it.
Yeah. I do too.
100%.
I mean, I don't necessarily know if that means that the Titans are going to follow in that same suit, but just knowing that it's happened before. I mean, there's a possibility, of course.
Oh, hey, Preds fans, join us at the grand opening of the Blood Assurance in Hermitage on Lebanon Pike. You can register to win tickets to the outdoor stadium game, and one lucky winner will receive a Preds Stadium Series jersey. See you today at Blood Assurance in Hermitage. Crispy will join us. Stillman and Company. It's ESPN 102.5 The Game.
Hey, this is Matt Duchene, and this is Smashville.
Running down the left side with Duchene. Duchene scores! Matt Duchene with the overtime winner.
You're listening to the flagship of the Nashville Predators Radio Network, ESPN 102.5 The Game.
Winter's a bad time for your furnace to go out, but it's never a bad time to call Lee Company. Our heating and air conditioning pros are available 24/7. No heat? Don't wait. Call Lee Company now at 615-567-1000. Our expert technicians will diagnose the issue and fix it right the first time. When you're cold, you need someone you can count on to bring the heat. Call Lee Company now at 615-567-1000 or visit leecompany.com.
Genesis Diamonds has everything you need to create the perfect Valentine's experience. A romantic gift, some fresh flowers, chocolates, and dinner out on us. That's right. Genesis has put together the ultimate Valentine's package. When you buy any piece of jewelry for just $99 or more, we'll give you a bouquet of flowers from Jenny's Flowers, some yummy chocolates, and a gift card for dinner at STK Steakhouse. At Genesis, love and romance are what we do best. So we've created this amazing one-stop offer so you can spend quality time with the one you love this Valentine's. We've pulled together some wonderful Valentine gift ideas as well. Rings, earrings, pendants, bracelets, bands, affordable, timeless gifts she can enjoy for years. So bring the sparkle and the romance with one-stop shopping at Genesis. Spend just $99 or more with us and get the flowers, the chocolates, and a gift card for dinner as our gift. Happy Valentine's Day from Genesis Diamonds, Green Hills and Cool Springs. Limited quantity. See store for details.
If you snore, it may be a sign of a more serious, possibly life-threatening condition. Most people think of snoring as a nuisance, but it's a much more serious medical condition than you think. Snoring has been associated with chest pain, sleep apnea, high blood pressure, chronic pain, obesity, headaches, and sore throat. Take a listen to what some of our patients are saying about the revolutionary Vivo system.
Right after I started using it, I noticed the results really, especially with the snoring. My sleep apnea episodes are a fraction of what they were before. This product's phenomenal. It changed my life.
I am 100% happy that I did this, and I'm thankful every day that I had it.
If you're curious about our sleep devices, call now for a sleep consultation. Don't let your spouse have to sleep in the guest room, and don't risk the severe health complications of snoring and sleep apnea.
Dr. Kelly Rice is certified to provide the Vivo system to open the airway for a better night's sleep. Call 615-373-4488 or go to BrentwoodSleepApnea.com to see which therapy can work best for you.
Individual results may vary. Always seek the advice of your health provider with any questions regarding a medical condition.
Nashville's best deal of the week is the Mainstay Bar and Grill in East Nashville. The Mainstay is located at 501 Main Street and is your local spot to enjoy all your sports along with great food and friends. With over 25 TVs, 20 taps, and nightly events like trivia and much more, you can't go wrong. The Mainstay Bar and Grill. Good drinks, good people, good times. Head to thegamenashville.com/deals now to get half off a $30 gift card to the Mainstay while supplies last.
Every Wednesday, it's me, Jared Stillman, against Joe Rexroad for Jared versus Joe. Brought to you by Parman Tractor and Equipment. Visit ParmanTractor.com, your Middle Tennessee link belt and Takeuchi dealer.
Hey, Nashville, this is Eli Gold, voice of the Alabama Crimson Tide, and you're listening to Nashville's best sports talk, ESPN 102.5 The Game.
Gossip Central and company here on the show.
That is exactly what we are. Just a couple of gossip queens.
New York Post, baby.
New York. We're going global.
New York Post reporting our Aaron Rodgers gossip from yesterday. That's okay. We got a lot of gossiping to do in one person. When I think of gossip, I think of one Terrence Arthur Crisp, Bally Sports Preds analyst, joins us on the show. Crispy, welcome to the Gossip Central.
The Gossip Central. I was listening to you guys. And I'm telling you right now, Caroline, you got to get a handle on this guy. You got to rein him in.
Crispy, there's not enough money in the world.
He is not old enough to get allowed to gossip like that. You got to have age to gossip.
So I have a gossip question for you, and then we'll get on to the Preds because I'm all fired up about that, and I know you are too. But so put yourself in the position of, say, the Titans right now, and we're reporting Aaron Rodgers bought a house here. A lot of people have homes here. You have a home here, Crispy, and we're reporting that he bought a house here and is open to joining the Titans. If you, loved one of your star players, let's say it's a goalie in this case because it's hockey. You love your goalie, but a better goalie is moving into town and buying a house. Would you sit there and think, maybe that guy could be my goalie? Or would you be like, I don't care that Dominic Hasek is buying a house here. I've got my goalie and I love him.
Okay. Am I the owner? Am I the coach? Or am I a player?
Let's make him the coach, right?
Sure.
All right, coach.
Hey, you know what a coach's job to do, if he wants to keep his job, is to win hockey games. And the one thing we were taught a long time ago, you learn And I know it's a rough phrase, but it says coaches cannot afford to fall in love with their players, and GMs cannot afford to fall in love with their players. So that sort of specifies the fact that as a coaching thinking, and I would imagine as a GM, anything that's going to make your team better and anything that's going to make your team win and get to the ultimate goal, which is a Stanley Cup or the Super Bowl or wherever, of course you're looking towards that. And of course, if the chance jumps up and they only come along so often, you're going to jump on it. And you know what else? I was listening to you guys earlier. It makes for great conversation. Let's face it, great conversation.
That is true. That's honestly as much fun as anything else. Crispy, the great conversation surrounding the Preds is what they're going to do with Philip Forsberg. Now, you and I got into this last week, and I'm going back to it for this reason. I feel like everybody in Nashville, I feel like Forsberg's plan was, I'm going to go in this season, I'm going to train harder than I've ever trained. I'm going to play harder than I've ever played. I am going to be more physical, more tough. I am going to shoot the puck when it's on my stick. I am going to try to take over this season. And we are seeing a guy as good as Forsberg has been over the years that has never been as good as he is right now. And Gentry Estes wrote it at the Tennessean, and Caroline told me that Joe wrote it at the Athletic. That's like, oh, well, now Philip Forsberg is so good that the Predators have no option but to ride out the season with him, let him get to the market, and then throw a bunch of money at him. And I just think that's bad business, Crispy. Big picture, bad business. I think the Predators are in a really tough spot, and Forsberg's great play has put them in that tough spot. But I just don't think the level of play that he's got is sustainable because we haven't seen him play this well his entire career until now. What do you think?
Okay, and we went through that last time, and I said to you, hey, it's easy enough to say, well, we'll wait till the end of the season, blah, blah, blah. We'll see what happens down the road. You said it about 4 times in different ways in your last statement to me here just a minute ago. The fact that Forsberg is right now, he's our best hockey player. Well, no, I'm sorry. Saros is our best hockey player on this hockey club right now.
True.
Forsberg is almost tied with him, so I'd hate to have to split a nickel down the road to say which one is which on that one. But wouldn't you love to have both of them on your team playing and keep Yossi on your team playing? And the way that Duchesne is playing, don't you think that Duchesne looks around saying, you know what? I don't want to lose this line mate of mine. He's making me look good. I'm making him look good. I want him to keep this guy. And I'll play a little harder too. So Duchesne's game has picked up. So right now we have Duchesne and Forsberg playing the hockey we know they're capable of doing, that they can do and be leaders in this team. And the double-edged sword on this is, what does Philip Forsberg want? What is his ultimate goal? And everybody will tell you this, and this is a tried and old story, that, you know what? The window only opens so often in a sporting career. I don't care what career it is, to make the money you want to make for your livelihood. Now, we're not going to bicker about what, and if that opening comes, you're human. You're going to take it.
Crispy, did you ever have any interest in being a general manager or just coach?
No, I never wanted to be a general manager. That's too hard. They make you work too long, too many hours. I can't do it.
Well, I asked this question.
I could be an armchair GM like everybody else, armchair quarterback or whatever. But no, you know what? Being a GM is not what it's. You have to have done a lot of things, and I don't think in my hockey career as a player and a coach, I have been, what's the word I'm looking for, exposed, as the word, to the things that a GM has to do and the intricacies of the meetings and the rules and the signings and go on and on and on. No, I have never had the desire to be a general manager.
Crispy, how did you feel back in the days when you were a coach and people said that they could be coach? When it's like, oh, I could be coach.
Say, come on and step behind the bench. Stand beside me in the bench. Come on into my dressing room some evenings when nobody's even interested in playing and just going through the motions on a few other things. And again, that old saying is this, that I always said this, coaches get fired. And when they get fired, there's always players that are going to take cheap shots at you after a coach is gone. They don't have the, to stand up while you're there and argue with you and do it. But the minute you're gone, they'll hammer you in the press and hammer you with this. And then I hear this one all the time that drives me nuts. Well, he's lost the dressing room. He's lost his players, the respect. You know that word respect? It's a two-way street, and you earn respect both ways. And I've always maintained that. You want my respect? Earn it. And if I want your respect, then I'll have to give it too. So it's a two-way
I just
street.
asked you that question because I was a little offended when you said that you could be an armchair GM. And as a professional armchair GM, Crispy, I just want you to know it's a lot harder than people think. I mean, it's a tough job.
You know what, Jared? I got to say this. I listen to a lot of sports casting yourself and other ones, and Willie.
And you are the
Don
sportscaster of the year, Crispy.
But you know what? You guys, you do more homework above and beyond because you have to. You can't look like a duh coming on the air. And I listen to Willie and yourself and Pete Weber and Eli Gold and different guys like that. And you know that they've done their homework. Yeah, sometimes they go off the wall a little bit. But argue the fact that the stuff that they're telling you is not right, is not true, or is false. That's what I say that you guys earn your money. You do your homework.
Unfortunately, a lot of people argue that what I say is not true anyways. Crispy's with us. Crispy.
You could tell them out there it's raining out right now and they won't believe you.
Crispy, this team right now is technically in second place, but they're really in fourth place with all the games in hand. I am rooting for the Predators to get the fourth spot in the Central Division because I'd rather go play the Pacific teams because I don't think they're very good. And I look at the Central teams, and I think everybody's stacked. I hate this NHL playoff system. I think it's stupid. I don't like the fact that you'd have to play Colorado in the second round, even if you're the second best team in the Western Conference. I'm kind of rooting that the Preds drop some down the stretch because I want them to be fourth, and I want them to play the Pacific Division. Is that a ridiculous thing to say?
You know what? It's not ridiculous if you're a sportscaster or a guy on radio or TV or whatever. But if you're a coach or a player, yeah, because you want to aim as high as you can aim, and you want to get up as far as you can get up the pole. And it's not like a water tap. You can turn it on and turn it off. Believe me, I've been caught in that trap before as a coach, thinking, well, we can, I want to rest them come into the playoffs. And I had a very smart one time sports psychologist sit down with me and say, yeah, you can rest your team. You can rest them for a week, about a month, 3 weeks before the playoffs start. In the last 3 weeks of the season, you better be on that horse with the whip and have them coming down that home stretch flying full tilt. So that the same thing applies. You don't want to ease off. Say, well, second place there. No. You know what, Stiller? You keep the whip out and you keep as hard as you can go.
Crispy, as always, much appreciated. And I would say that, yes, I do not want the players to go out there and not play hard. This is not the Miami Dolphins. This is the NHL. No tanking. By the way, hey, as a coach, how would you feel if the owner came to you and said, Crispy, I'm going to give you $100,000 to lose?
Oh, come on. No, I don't think a guy would ever do. I don't think he could ever do it. How could you ever even consider that thing or consider doing it if you have any pride whatsoever and respect for yourself and respect for your sport or anything else? No, that to me is an asinine situation.
I could honestly,
as far as I'm concerned,
I could see a headline that, like, if the owner did what the Dolphins owner allegedly did and offered you $100,000 to lose a game, I could legitimately see a headline: Terry Crisp fired after punching owner. Like that, I could legitimately see that. Crispy, as always, appreciate you. Thanks for stopping by. And we'll get a little break here with the All-Star game, and then we will see you back at the rink.
All right, guys. Hey, you took it. You got it. Nice going. See you all at the rink, and you all stay safe and healthy. Look after your families.
Yep, Terry Crisp joining us on the program, as always. Only one half a hockey season left with Crispy on the show.
It definitely won't be as fun. That is for certain.
What'd you think about Crispy's answer when I asked him about, if you were a coach and you had a goalie and you loved your goalie, but then another goalie moved to town and the goalie was better, and he was like, hey, only so many chances to win in coaching.
Well, when you put it that way, it's pretty easy. If you were the coach, the GM of whatever, and you have one player and there's another player who is better, which one would you choose? It's pretty simple.
The better player.
When you put it in those terms, it's pretty simple.
So apparently we've got some tea that I didn't know about.
Piping hot?
No, I think this is known, but I didn't know about it.
Okay.
And I don't think we as a community know about this surrounding the Rodgers thing? That's next. Stillman and Company. It's ESPN 102.5 The Game.
From Fox 17 News, this is a Code Red weather alert.
I'm Fox 17 meteorologist Greg Bobus. Temperatures falling going into tonight, allowing many of our rainy patches to potentially switch over to on and off freezing rain. Waking up Friday morning to icy areas, especially on secondary roads, as temps go below freezing.
This weather report brought to you by Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical.
Call the Happy Face Truck today.
Make this the winter of you with Audible. Listen to the latest thrillers, motivation, wellness, and more with podcasts, audiobooks, and originals all in one app. Sign up and start free at audible.com.
This is Hal Gill here from my good friends at Dunkin'. I grew up in Boston with the Dunks on almost every corner. Now I am wicked excited my favorite coffee moved with me to Nashville. The newest location is at 500 Cool Springs Boulevard. Valentine's Day is right around the corner, and Dunks has special items for you to share with your special someone. Try the brownie batter, Cupid's Choice, or Valentine's Takeover. Of course, Dunks has all your favorites as well. Breakfast sandwiches, pastries, donuts, and as always, my favorite coffee. Go brighten up your day. Go get your Dunks.
Blood Assurance, the area's only nonprofit community blood center, announces they'll be giving away 8 tickets to the Nashville Predators Stadium Series game. Stop by the new Blood Assurance Hermitage location on Lebanon Pike January 25th through February 3rd for your chance to win. One donation saves 3 lives, and Blood Assurance needs your help saving local lives today. Find it in your heart to donate. Go to bloodassurance.org/schedule for information.
Hey everybody, Robbie Stanley here to tell you about my friends at Jasper's. Jasper's is a casual restaurant and bar located on West End Avenue, equipped with TVs, a game room available for private events, a grab-and-go market, and free parking. Yes, free parking. This neighborhood spot is Nashville's new go-to restaurant and bar. You can try their selection of elevated bar food ranging from appetizers to chicken sandwiches to flatbread pizzas and the famous smash burger, as well as any of their delicious cocktails. So visit my friends at Jasper's, located at 1918 West End Avenue, and tell them that Robbie sent you.
For the love of the climb, for the love of the fall, for the love of knowing your kids' laughter is the sweetest music there is, for the love of Tennessee. Travel safe. Brought to you by the Tennessee Department of Tourist Development, the Tennessee Association of Broadcasters, and this station.
Hey, it's Elijah Campbell from Darren, Donick, and Chase, and I got my radio start right here as an intern at ESPN 102.5 The Game. It was an excellent experience, and we're now looking for new interns. If you think that's you, go ahead and send your resume over to together@cromwellmedia.com to apply.
Sometimes their glass is half full.
That was unbelievable. It was the best NFL draft they've ever had.
Sometimes glass half empty.
What are we getting ourselves into here? Tough game.
And sometimes it's all about the numbers.
One win, and they've gone on this streak, and now they're at 500.
Hang out with Darren, Donick, and Chase from 10 to 2 during your workday. Presented by Curacion CBD on Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app. Watch live on Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube.
You're listening to Stillman and Company, delivered by TriStar Moving.
Everything is still on the table in your eyes, you're thinking at this moment.
I don't think there's any free agency is not. I don't think that's an option, but I think, but everything is definitely on the table. There are things that seem more plausible or more likely, which I won't necessarily get into. But the most important thing is first the commitment to playing and to going through the off season and training and all that stuff is the first, and then after that. It's just conversations with my agent and Brian, and looking at the desires of the team and the kind of the mindset moving forward, and then make a decision from there.
There you go. That was Aaron Rodgers on the Pat McAfee Show, Sirius XM, Mad Dog Sports Radio, Channel 82. Great show. By the way, and we'll go through this coming up. Mm-hmm. Apparently, Pat McAfee grilled A.J. Hawk on the Aaron Rodgers report from this show yesterday, and apparently Ian says A.J. Hawk took a shot at us at the end. Well, I mean, A.J. better get his tune in check, because I have a feeling. I have a feeling that A.J. and I are going to be sharing the same space at some point here in the near future.
Is that so?
Perhaps. Anywho, one of my favorite words that I have learned from working with Caroline Fenton is the word tea.
Tea.
So we got
gossip.
we got some tea, which again, this is all this is. So the New York Post ran a story on our report about Aaron Rodgers in the New York Post. Aaron Rodgers' Tennessee purchase sparks Titans rumors is in the New York Post. And I did not see this until I read this New York Post article. I did not know. Again, the only things I know are what I've reported to you all. And so here you go. Last week on January 27th, quote, Aaron Rodgers has sold his longtime California home where he would go to unwind in the offseason for $5.13 million, the Post can report. The Green Bay Packers quarterback initially purchased the 5-bedroom, 6-bathroom San Diego abode nearly 12 years ago in 2009 for $2 million, property records show. The transaction happened fairly quickly. The house first hit the market on October 13th and had a pending offer only a week later. The sale closed just before the new year on November 29th. Orva Harwood with Berkshire Hathaway Home Services represented Rodgers in the sale. Apparently this home had a game room, a theater, a wine cellar, a /guest room with private interest, and it also contains a pool and spa with fire pit.
Fancy.
So last week, in October, Aaron put his California beach home on the market, or his California home on the market, and it just sold last week. And now he's got a home here.
I have a really hard team.
Excuse me? One word first?
Tea.
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 It is some tea.
What do we make of it?
I have a hard time thinking this isn't politically motivated.
So I was going to say, you know what this sounds like? October 12th. When did Rodgers test positive for COVID?
Like September, October, November.
I want to say it was the week Derrick Henry got hurt. So I think that was the first week of November.
Yes.
So this is what it tells me, right? This is my guess, and you all tell me. Rodgers doesn't want to live in California right now or probably ever again because, well, if I got to show my vaccine passport everywhere, I'm not going to wear a mask. You know what I mean?
That's the vibe I get.
Right. So Rodgers decides, so he spends all last season, off-season, in his mansion out in California, pre-vaccines, where there's no passports and there's no, everybody around the country has to wear a mask. Fine.
And by the sounds of it, he can probably hang out in his house and be just fine.
Right, and not have too much
1,000
to deal with.
rooms and a spa and so on and so forth.
So then he goes back to Green Bay, and now it becomes utterly apparent that he's going to have to either get vaccinated to live in California or everything is just going to be miserable. And so then he makes the decision, already knowing he's not going back to the Packers, he makes the decision, all right, I'm moving. Where is everybody in California, Illinois, and New York moving to?
Nashville.
Here or Florida.
Yeah.
So he decides to move here, and those two things are totally separate from his football career, with the one exception of this. If Aaron had a choice, and I have no idea what Aaron's home in Green Bay is like. I'm sure it's nice. But if Aaron has the choice of living in his San Diego home that he used to own year-round all the time and not having to move out and go to Green Bay, or he can spend half the year one place and then half the year in his mansion, which one do you think he'd rather do?
Probably the former.
Okay, he'd rather live year-round in the one spot.
Yes.
That's where the Tennessee home comes into play.
Probably so. That it's, it's a nice area. You can build a nice home, and you're not going to be bothered. It's the same like California vibe. Like he's not going to build a home in the middle of where he's going to get bothered because there's so many other celebrities, and he's not going to have to succumb to vaccine mandates. And he can actually go out and do things rather than having to show a vaccine card everywhere he goes. That's what it sounds like to me.
Like, I don't know this. And again, all I'm reporting is that he's open to joining the Titans. Open.
Yeah.
And you heard in that clip on the McAfee show where he's like, free agency is the one thing that's not an option. So retirement could be an option.
Staying in Green Bay could be an option.
A trade is an option. Green Bay is an option. Game show is an option. Although they
State
probably
Farm?
make him get vaccinated in order to host a game show.
So if that's in the cards, then that's not an option.
So, but he said free agency's not. So he's not technically going to get to choose. But I mean, I'd be stunned if Aaron doesn't play a role in deciding where he's going to go. I'd be stunned if Aaron doesn't play a huge role in deciding where he's going to go. So in this case, it all has to align up. Like the Titans would have to want Aaron, which we don't know if they do. Mm-hmm. They'd have to be willing to trade for
But
Aaron.
who doesn't want Aaron Rodgers?
Titans.
But do we know that?
Again, here's the list of who definitely doesn't want Aaron Rodgers. And you stop me if you think one of these teams do. Jacksonville.
No.
Kansas City. Chargers. Buffalo. Patriots. Jets. Baltimore. Cincinnati. Dallas. San Francisco. Arizona. The Rams. Chicago.
Is San Francisco totally out?
They got to be. They don't have any picks.
I know. They invested so much into Trey Lance. But, I feel like they could maybe be open to free agency.
But again, he's not going to free agency.
Yeah, that's true.
And I don't think they have the cap space either.
Probably not, because they've got to re-sign Deebo Samuel. They've got to re-sign.
ESPN ran a clip that was like, ran an article that was like, who has the most assets to improve this offseason? Jacksonville's number one, so they have the best picks and the most cap room. The Rams are last. Shocking.
Yeah.
San Francisco's second to last.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So they need to trade Jimmy.
Get rid of his contract.
And then that will give them some space in order to do whatever they want to do. What do we have the text line? 615-737-1025. Our phone lines are driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. Let me state for the record once again, it's like a disclaimer. We did not report Aaron Rodgers is coming to the Titans, and we do not think Aaron Rodgers is coming to the Titans.
We are just connecting dots.
We are just talking about the
T.
What do we have?
Cody texts in and says, George Kittle lives in Nashville. Robert Tonyan lives here too. I'm sure several other high-profile athletes have homes and condos in the area. Rodgers to the Titans is a pipe dream. Same as Russell Wilson. Don't believe it until there's actual traction. Again, we have said so many times, we understand that Aaron Rodgers building a house in Nashville doesn't mean that he's going to be the next quarterback of the Titans. We understand so many people want to live here and so many people do live here. We understand that. But calling Aaron Rodgers to the Titans a pipe dream, I don't think is correct.
So these guys got to go somewhere.
Yeah. Is it a long shot? Sure, you can call it a long shot, but a pipe dream?
Nobody was talking about Brady to Tampa Bay. It was all Brady to the Raiders, Brady to the Titans, Brady stays in New England, Brady to New York because Bridget's kid lives in New York, and because he and Giselle have a place in New York, Brady to the Chargers. I mean, I know that you don't remember this as much as I do because this is my job, and I literally was listening to TV every day to be like, well, Jeff Saturday said, what do we think about it, Brady or Tannehill? So nobody thought about Tampa Bay as a viable option for Brady. So nobody thinks the Titans until now. Here are the teams that don't have starting quarterbacks. Denver, Pittsburgh, Carolina, Washington, and Tampa Bay.
Denver, I think, would be the most probable of
Everybody's
all of those.
Circling Denver for sure.
Yeah. Tampa Bay, I don't know. I don't see him going to Tampa Bay.
Tampa Bay. Washington.
No.
The Commanders.
The Commandos.
Carolina.
No.
Pittsburgh.
Maybe.
But they're not better than the Titans.
No, they're not better than the Titans, but I wouldn't cross them off as a complete non-starter.
So, I mean, he's got to go somewhere.
Indianapolis.
Indy could be interesting. Everybody, the salary cap. But you know that they can find a way.
They can find a way, and the Colts do have money.
Do they?
I mean, I would assume so, just because they always do. I'm not saying that
I don't
based
think they have
off
as
of
much
research.
money as we're used to with the Colts.
Maybe not.
They're paying Wentz a lot of money.
Yeah.
Which goes back to how stupid that decision was at the time, which is why I thought it was so good that it happened, because it was so dumb, which is also why I was so against extending Tannehill's contract this offseason when I tried to explain to everybody that it was, in fact, an extension, because it's like, well, you can't get rid of him now. Oh, well, we don't care. That's not what the... Now here you are. And
wanting
now
to get rid of him.
Everybody's telling you can't get rid of him. 615-737-1025. Speaking of T, the Pat McAfee show, A.J. Hawk is a co-host. That's how that's why Aaron goes on that show, because A.J. Hawk was his teammate in Green Bay. McAfee grills A.J. Hawk on Rodgers and about this report. We break that down next. Stillman and Company, it's ESPN 102.5 The Game.
The voice of reason.
If I'm the official, I would send both teams to the locker room and say, this is going to stop.
The voice of the fan.
Our entire team's a mash unit right now.
The voice of Nashville sports is your home of Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
ElectronicExpress.com. We make it happen.
Victory Award-winning New Amsterdam Vodka knows all about it. But in life, it's not always so clear. So New Amsterdam Vodka believes that in life, you've got to find your own wins. You've got to overcome your fears, go all in, even when you've got nothing at all. Find your wins. And when you do, raise that glass of New Amsterdam Vodka in victory. You've earned it. New Amsterdam Spirits Company, Modesto, California.
Bank of England Mortgage has been helping Americans live the dream of home ownership for over 100 years. Since their humble beginnings in England, Arkansas in 1898, they've grown into a nationwide mortgage lender with 141 offices across 45 states, including 3 convenient locations right here in Middle Tennessee. Find out more at BOE1214.com. Bank of England Mortgage is a division of Bank of England Mortgage. Equal housing lender, member FDIC, NMLS 418-481.
Do you love Smashville? Join us February 12th and 15th to watch your Nashville Predators take on the Winnipeg Jets and Washington Capitals. Live from Bridgestone Arena. Visit NashvillePredators.com/tickets to make sure you get a seat or 2. Whether you're bringing your honey or getting ready for a night out with your pals, Smashville is the place you need to be. Secure your seat and bring your gold. That's NashvillePredators.com/tickets to make plans with the Preds. And we'll see you at Bridgestone Arena.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Ready for an oil change? We can help get the right protection at the right price. Right now, you can get 5 quarts of Valvoline Daily Protection or Valvoline Max Life High Mileage Motor Oil with an STP oil filter for just $28.99. Visit one of our 6,000 stores or order from AutoZone.com for same-day store pickup or next-day delivery.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
Jackson Hewitt needs you to know 3 things about filing taxes this year. 1, there are thousands of dollars worth of new tax credits on the table. 2, you have to file for them to make sure you get the right amount. 3, a Jackson Hewitt Tax Pro will help track down every credit you deserve. Tax credits for being a parent, taking care of a parent, going to school, and so much more. You don't want to miss out on thousands. Jackson Hewitt knows that. Discover thousands in tax credits and get your biggest refund guaranteed. Learn more at jacksonhewitt.com.
Hey, it's Chase McCabe of Darren, Donick, and Chase. I started my radio career as an intern right here at ESPN 102.5 The Game. Now we're looking for our next great batch of interns. You think that's you? Send your resume to together@cromwellmedia.com to apply today.
From the Hillside Medical Game Studios, WPRT FM Pegram, WPUC HD2 Laverne.
NASCAR is back. Kyle Larson returns to Nashville Superspeedway a winner.
Nashville's exclusive home for NASCAR.
ESPN
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
A Cromwell media station.
Live from the Game Nashville studios, it's Stillman and Company. Delivered by TriStar Moving. TriStar Movers with 5-star service. With Jared Stillman on Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Stillman and Company is delivered by TriStar Moving. ESPN 102.5 The Game, streaming live on Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, Facebook Live. Thanks to the law offices of Amanda Gentry. We're live from the Hillside Medical Game Studios. So we got some
tea.
Piping
hot tea.
The Aaron Rodgers report, again on this show yesterday. Aaron Rodgers buying a home in the Nashville area, Williamson County. And there is some confusion between Franklin or Brentwood. I reported Franklin. I think it's Brentwood.
I think it's that. The more I've heard, the more I think
it's Brentwood. I got to tell you something. And I look, it burns my ass if that's the case because I want to be 100% right. Mm. I'm not sure that I ever really realized the difference between Brentwood and Franklin. And I've lived here for almost 30 years.
You asked me that yesterday, and I thought you were like grilling me about like my knowledge of Nashville geography, and I was like, I don't really know. And you were like, yeah, me neither. I was like, okay, cool.
I mean, Ian lives in Franklin.
They are two separate cities.
They are two separate cities. Ian lives in Franklin. Floyd lived in Brentwood, and every day before we leave, they talk about the traffic on the way home.
Okay, so there's similar
south.
traffic.
65 south, yes.
So they take the same route. I mean, it is what it is. So anyway, the
Williamson County.
The Pat McAfee Show, which you can hear on Mad Dog Sports Radio, Sirius XM Channel 82. The Pat McAfee Show apparently gave us a shout-out today. Somebody in the text line told us that.
It is William, a Nashville native. He got mad at me for not crediting him.
Oh.
So, since we're getting mad about credit around here.
You know what? Sometimes you got to let people know.
Credit is important. So thank you to William, the Nashville native.
All right. So they broke this down. Now, every show is going to talk about it. I think tomorrow ESPN will be talking about this Rodgers report. I think Fox will be talking about it. I think that, today is kind of when it hit, the mainstream America, and so tomorrow is when they'll react to it. But the Pat McAfee Show talked about this. If there's any show that would have any insight into any of this, it would be the McAfee Show, right?
Probably so, yeah.
Since they get
They're
Rodgers
buddies.
on weekly, he and AJ Hawk are buds.
Yeah.
So apparently, Pat McAfee was grilling. Ian has listened to this and broken it down for us. We have not. Pat McAfee was grilling AJ Hawk
For about 3 minutes. It was about 3 or so minutes.
About 3 minutes about the report yesterday. Here's what first McAfee asked about the timing of the purchase.
What came out that I missed?
Oh, so he's trying to figure out what all he's allowed to say.
No, what happened in Nashville? Believe it or not, guys, multiple snow days in a row. Wife out of town. I've been plowing on my John Deere all morning trying to keep kids alive.
Hell yeah.
So,
Okay,
there's a lot of
so-
ice out here.
All right, so we'll let you know what the world already knows, so you're not giving any more information, because why would you want to do that? Because
So he's going to wait. So they say he just bought a property in Nashville.
Oh, so you already
That
know.
was reported, yes.
Okay. When did he purchase this property?
Well, the thing is,
Exactly. So the timing I think matters here, guys.
Okay,
Did he
well,
just
listen,
buy it
I'm
right now?
asking you, I didn't break this news. Come on.
Did he just buy it now, or did he buy this? I don't know, months ago.
Wow, you tell us.
I don't know.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah, when was it?
I'm saying check the date. Check the date if you think he just bought it.
Does it matter? Okay, so does any of this matter? Why do you think he bought the property in Nashville? Did you ever talk about that? Is it because he wants
Because
to
he
go
has
to
$1 billion and he wants to live in multiple locations.
He's a billionaire?
Okay. There's some tea there.
There is some tea.
Because clearly AJ Hawk, first of all, do you believe that AJ Hawk didn't know what the report was?
I don't know.
The
He
idea of,
probably
I've
already
got
knew.
snow and ice and I have no idea what's going on.
But also another thing about that, sometimes it makes me laugh how enthralled men get with certain things. He was like, yeah, I was, plowed snow on my John Deere. And they were like, hell yeah. It was so funny. Men just sometimes never grow up.
Okay. So do you think he didn't know the report?
No, he probably did.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then when he immediately jumps to, so he bought a house in Nashville. And the guys are like, okay, you already knew.
Yeah.
Then he says, well, when did he buy it?
And that's why I think he knows when it was bought. Because he probably bought the land not this last week.
I bet you. We just talked about that New York Post report about how he put his house on the market in San Diego in October.
Yeah.
I bet you he bought the land then.
Probably so.
And again, I don't know the answer to that. All I know is what I've reported to you all, except one major detail that if I told you, everybody would be like, oh, aha, which I can't tell you. But I don't know when it was purchased. My gut tells me, this is just me, my gut tells me that Hawk is trying to say, hey, this is like his vacation, retirement, off-season house.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, the second clip is the raw land versus property versus home. Go ahead and play it, Ian.
Okay, so what we're saying is this means nothing in your eyes, just the fact that he
There's other people that live in Nashville that are professional athletes. There's nice areas in Nashville all over the place. So if Aaron has raw land in Nashville without a house on it, how does that mean he's going to the Titans? Now, he is close with Braves. He loves the head coach in Brable. The Titans are in the AFC, so all of that matches up.
Okay, so just quick follow-up. Raw land is the property, because I do believe it was pitched as like a house, maybe.
Yeah.
It was assumed to be a house. What do you mean by raw land?
Did he buy a house?
No, it did just say property, but I think everybody assumed that it was a house was also there.
I don't know. I honestly don't know. There might be.
Okay. No, he said raw land.
Sounds like he bought some raw land out
They
there.
bought some raw land. Okay, well, we appreciate that. That is becoming a story, though, as is everything that happens with your best friend.
Okay, now, there's a lot of
tea.
There's a lot of that there. First of all, the report from my Twitter. Aaron Rodgers has purchased land and is in the process of building a home.
So that would mean
There is no interpretation there, AJ.
raw land.
McAfee.
Raw
Something got lost in translation there from
Clearly,
somewhere.
there is no. I mean, that right there So you see what A.J. Hawk's saying right there is a bunch of professional athletes live there, and this is nothing new, which we never said it wasn't.
No.
But he was like, oh, is it raw land or is it a house? Because there's a difference between raw land and a house. I told you, raw land.
Mm-hmm.
I told you he bought land and is in the process of building a house. I don't know what difference that makes here, though.
But I almost feel like buying raw land and building a house is even more of a commitment.
Like more of a place where you want to be.
Yes.
But that's more like longer term. Like Aaron's not going to play for 10 years.
Yeah, like if he were to play next year and he doesn't have a house, but just land, is he going to live in the hotel?
Yeah, that is
or
true.
Or rent until it's ready? I don't know.
But then again, we never said that the house equaled Titans quarterback.
No. We just reported the news. Now, did you see what Hawk gave away in there that I think is some tea?
Vrabel.
Oh, he and Vrabes are tight, and he loves Vrabel, and oh, yes.
And that was another caveat that we haven't gotten to yet, because that was one question I had. How would Aaron Rodgers' personality and ego gel with Mike Vrabel's coaching style? But that was a worry of mine.
I do not think they'd get along.
I wouldn't either. Because Aaron Rodgers is so me, and Mike Vrabel is so team. But they're tight, and they like each other. That, I think, is important.
I think that we keep that one in the back pocket for a second. We'll circle back on that. Then, apparently, Hawk is mad that we reported this story. Play that clip.
And you're saying there's no reason for us to look into that any deeper or anybody else to wonder or speculate on his football?
No, you could. You should. You should jump into it. Yeah.
I'm not doing that. I'm just saying, people, you don't think that house is necessarily a property, is raw land, whatever that means.
Thank you.
You don't think that raw land is any indication of what his football career is going to be?
If Aaron has any land down in Nashville, I don't think he got the land with any intention of thinking about football. It has nothing to do with football, I believe, if he has anything to
Please put that on the ticker.
Okay.
Thank you, AJ.
Thank you.
So is he building an immunized center then, or?
Well, we don't
that
know.
doesn't mean it can't, though. That doesn't mean all of a sudden, say he goes down there, he's like, oh, this is cool. I like Nashville. Live music. Hey, Braves, why don't you call the pack, work out a trade for me? That could happen.
So hold on. Put that on the ticker as well, although it is raw land, whatever that means.
But then, actually, I think he might retire, too. So put that on the ticker as well.
What do you know? You don't know anything except for a little bit, and we got to kind of piece together about what
I don't
you
even
do
know a little bit. No, I don't know.
No, you do. You
No,
just said
yeah,
raw land. You just said
raw land.
I don't jump at dumb stories where people think like they put him in locations instantly. Like, oh, here it is. This is happening.
I'm sorry. I did not do that. I did not say.
We've said so many times.
We have thrown every disclaimer out there that we did not say that Aaron was coming to the Titans. Now, what do we make about that? Because what Hawk's doing here is he's playing the game.
Yes.
Hawk knows. Hawks talked to Aaron.
But I don't
There
think-
is no doubt. Remember when I told you, like, to start the show, I was like, you know this has gotten back to the Titans. You know this has gotten back to Aaron. And so if there is a light bulb to be flipped on for, like, a Titan owner, for Amy Adams Strunk, to be like, oh, wow, maybe I should go out and go get Aaron Rodgers. Bing. John, it's Amy. Go get Aaron. Like, those things happen. Then it's definitely gotten to the Titans, and it's definitely gotten to them. It's definitely gotten to Aaron.
100%.
And Aaron talked to A.J. Hawk, and this is what Aaron wants out there. And you brought it up during the break, which was when Aaron wants to quash something, he squashes it really quickly. Like the Boomer Esiason, Aaron's going to boycott the Super Bowl because of COVID, and that was gone within like 4 hours.
Instantly, Aaron Rodgers tweeted, this is so, effing stupid, expletive here, just denied it completely, almost instantly.
So, what I took away from the A.J. Hawk breakdown, correct me if I'm wrong, but it's possible, but it's also not why Aaron built this house.
Which I think we both kind of agree is what we thought was the case.
That's what we said yesterday.
Yeah, that's what we said the
talked
whole
about
time.
the girlfriend and
Reese Witherspoon, yeah.
I mean, come on.
And the COVID thing, and it's just a nice place to live. Like, we understood that. But, he could just pick up the phone and call Vrabel and ask for a trade. They're buds.
You know what that is?
Tea.
Tea.
Piping hot tea.
Your reaction to that. 615-737-1025 is our phone number. Get your calls and your texts in. And here's the element I want to talk about next. Vrabel. because we didn't know that Aaron and Vrabel were buddies. I mean, I'm sure their paths had crossed and things like that. And it doesn't surprise me just knowing both. Well, I don't know Aaron's personality. Knowing Vrabel's personality, it doesn't surprise me that they're buddies. But if they're buddies, let it begin. Let's discuss that next. Stillman and Company right here on ESPN 102.5 The Game. FanDuel Sportsbook is my official sportsbook app. Are you missing football on Thursdays? Well, you can still turn every Thursday into a payday with the NBA on TNT on FanDuel Sportsbook. It does not matter if you win or if you lose because FanDuel is giving all customers $10 back every Thursday. Just bet $10 or more on a same-game parlay for any NBA on TNT game. Same-game parlays let you combine the money line, point spread, player props, and more all into one wager. Especially with the NBA, there are so many options to choose from. We've got the Clippers and the Lakers, so you can bet LeBron over under point total, or maybe you want to bet the Suns when they take on the Hawks. It's the perfect way to turn a small bet into a big-time score. And win or lose, you're guaranteed to get $10 added to your account. You can bet the FanDuel Sportsbook app. So get $10 back every Thursday, win or lose with TNT Thursdays. And guess what? If you're new to FanDuel, you can sign up with the promo code JGM to enjoy the special Super Bowl bet and get 56-1 odds on either team to win the Super Bowl. So you can turn a $5 bet into $285 cash with the promo code JGM. 21 and older and present, Tennessee. Bonus issues and all withdrawable site credit expires in 7 days. Max bonus $10. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call the Tennessee Red Line 1-800-889-9789.
Every Thursday at 1 on Darren, Donick, and Chase, we're joined by Sportsnet's Elliot Friedman for the best inside knowledge on the NHL. It's all brought to you by Bank of England Mortgage on ESPN 102.5 The Game.
Genesis Diamonds has everything you need to create the perfect Valentine's experience. A romantic gift, some fresh flowers, chocolates, and dinner out on us. That's right. Genesis has put together the ultimate Valentine's package. When you buy any piece of jewelry for just $99 or more, we'll give you a bouquet of flowers from Jenny's Flowers, some yummy chocolates, and a gift card for dinner at STK Steakhouse. At Genesis, love and romance are what we do best. So we've created this amazing one-stop offer so you can spend quality time with the one you love this Valentine's. We've pulled together some wonderful Valentine gift ideas as well. Rings, earrings, pendants, bracelets, bands, affordable, timeless gifts she can enjoy for years. So bring the sparkle and the romance with one-stop shopping at Genesis. Spend just $99 or more with us and get the flowers, the chocolates, and a gift card for dinner as our gift. Happy Valentine's Day from Genesis Diamonds, Green Hills and Cool Springs. Limited quantity. See store for details.
The National Wild Turkey Federation's 46th Annual Convention and Sports Show is February 16th through the 20th at Gaylord Opryland Resort and Convention Center. Celebrate a year of conservation success with the National Wild Turkey Federation members, volunteers, and partners. You can expect the same great nightly events, quality entertainment in the watering hole, and the latest gear from more than 350 companies featured in their exhibit hall. For more info, go to nwtf.org. Parman Tractor and Equipment is your one-stop tractor and equipment solution and Middle Tennessee's Link Belt and Takeuchi dealer. Rent or purchase a track loader, mini excavator, large excavators for your job site, or something in between. Parman is now hiring and seeking qualified candidates for construction equipment truck drivers, service technicians, and more. Apply at parmantractor.com or call 615-865-7800. Come be an employee owner with the Parman team, your Middle Tennessee Link Belt and Takeuchi dealer.
If you've missed any of today's show, just search Stillman and Company on Apple, Spotify, or your favorite podcast platform.
Okay, so what we're saying is this means nothing in your eyes, just the fact that
There's other people that live in Nashville that are professional athletes. There's nice areas in Nashville all over the place. So if Aaron has raw land in Nashville without a house on it, how does that mean he's going to the Titans? Now, he is close with Braves. He loves the head coach in Vrabel. The Titans are in the AFC, so all of that matches up.
Okay, so just quick follow-up. Raw land is the property, because I do believe it was pitched as like a house, maybe.
Yeah.
It was assumed to be a house. What do you mean by raw land?
Did he buy a house?
No, it did just say property, but I think everybody assumed that it was a house was also there.
I don't know. I honestly don't know. There might be.
Okay.
No, he said raw land.
Sounds like he bought some raw land out
They
there.
bought some raw land. Okay, well, we appreciate that. That is becoming a story, though, as is everything that happens with your best friend.
Pat McAfee Show, by the way, I don't know anything. What a load
It could be
of
anything.
bullcrap from A.J. Hawk.
He could call Mike Vrabel and ask for a trade, but also he could be retiring.
I mean, he could be doing whatever he wants.
Anything's on the table.
He goes strip club. I
Yeah.
mean, again, the thing I want to discuss here is that A.J. Hawk, like, you know that thing where you trade away something that's not a secret in order to get somebody else to give you a secret?
Yes.
Well, A.J. Hawk just told us that Vrabel and Aaron Rodgers are friends.
Uh-huh.
Did we know that?
I didn't know that. I assumed that they probably wouldn't even get along. Just
Well, I want to go. I want to go there in a second.
Yeah.
Ian, did we know that?
It doesn't ring a bell. I mean, I guess they're relatively close in age, 5 years probably or so off. I don't know. I don't think I've ever heard that.
I mean, we know. For example, like we know that Vrabel and Brady are friends.
because they played on the same team.
Right.
Makes sense.
And the
Like,
FaceTime thing, yeah.
And we know that Vrabel and Luke Fickell are friends because they were roommates or whatever, or they were, I think Fickell was his best man in his wedding.
So it makes sense.
Right. But like nobody would think, like Chris Sanders and Vrabel are friends, I think, because they played together at Ohio State. So this, I mean, I haven't heard a connection about Vrabel being close with Aaron Rodgers, but again, knowing Vrabel's personality and knowing what I know of Aaron, it doesn't surprise me that Vrabel and Aaron are close. But that is a newsworthy item to buy. We spent 2 months talking about Brady coming to the Titans, and a lot of it was built on the fact that he and Mike Vrabel were friends, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's the newsworthy item here, is that Vrabel and Rodgers are friends. Because again, with Russell and Aaron, this is not a typical sports trade. This is not a baseball or a hockey trade. This is more of a basketball trade, which is the players get to decide too. Aaron gets to decide, Russell gets to decide, or at least they get to be a part of it. So now we know Aaron is open to joining the Titans because we reported that. And he's friends with Vrabel because A.J. Hawk just told us on the Pat McAfee show.
Yeah.
Do you think that this plays a factor in this? And, bigger question, just because they're friends doesn't mean that they would work well together. Do you think Vrabel and Rodgers would work well together? There were some questions about Brady and Vrabel. Like, yeah, they're friends, but it's different when one guy's the coach and, you know, when basically that's your boss, that's different. But I think Vrabel and Brady would have gotten along fine.
Oh, yeah. They both have that Patriot mentality.
Right. I think Brady would still be playing if he'd come to the Titans.
I can't say that for certain, but if we can assume that Brady's retiring because he really didn't see a future in Tampa Bay, I mean, the Titans still very much so are in a window.
Well, the Titans cap is set up for really next year to be, you know, for them to essentially reload for next year. So, and now they've done some things to the cap since they decided on Tannehill. But in theory, if you had Brady, his money would have been a little bit less than Tannehill's.
Which is wild.
So you would have had less money, but you'd still have – the only guy who they really, really need that isn't coming back for next year is Ben Jones. Other than that, everything else is kind of replaceable, and maybe even Ben Jones is replaceable. Harold Landry's going to be franchised, as they are, according to my source, far apart in a long-term deal. But, I mean, I think Brady would still be playing. But that's neither here nor there.
Right.
I think the lack of buttoned-upness of Arians played a role in Brady's retirement.
Probably
That's
so.
just my opinion. I know those two would have worked out well together. I don't know about Rodgers and Vrabel. Like, the one thing the Titans always talk about is putting the team first. And I get it. Rodgers does not put the team first.
No.
He has never put the team first.
He is a notorious not putter of the team firster.
He has never.
He's a poster child for it.
But do you think if Vrabel outlined it ahead of time of like, hey, here are the expectations for you to be a Titan, and Aaron agrees to it, then do you think it could work?
I don't know if Aaron would agree to it.
Do you think Denver cares? Who's Denver's coach?
Hackett.
Oh, yeah. You know, whatever.
But I also do wonder, is that Aaron's personality, period, or is that Aaron's personality toward the Green Bay Packers?
I've told you this.
He has so much, he's so vindictive against that team.
I've told you this. I've never met Aaron in my life. And I really felt bad breaking this story because I'm so close with his brothers.
Yeah.
And then people would assume, and I will tell you this, the brothers had nothing to do with me dropping this source or whatever. They have nothing to do with it. But I know the brothers really, really well. And, I mean, like, just letting people in on something that maybe it's none of their business. Like, those are the kind of dudes that when something's wrong in your life that you really can lean on. And I know that I've done that in my own life, you know, with some things that had happened last year and some others. And, like, you know, Luke and Jordan are great guys. Like, they're great guys. So I believe that if you've got a problem with both of them,
you're the problem.
It's more of a reflection of you than it is them. So when you ask, is this just the Packers? It doesn't seem like this is just the Packers.
Mm-hmm.
It seems to me like anytime anybody upsets Aaron, he doesn't have the ability to admit his own shortcomings. Like, he doesn't have the ability to say, hey, I screwed that up.
Mm-hmm.
Which is one of the things we jumped all over Tannehill about, is that he cost them the game. Now, this is very, very different. You know, but Tannehill cost him the game.
Completely different
and
level.
then put his hand in the air. Aaron holds grudges. He's very vindictive. Again, reportedly.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll just go back to what I know. When Jordan went on the show The Bachelorette and became famous overnight, like went from like hanging out in our studio and talking college football all the time to like the number 5 celebrity in America overnight. I've never seen anything like it before. Like, there were a lot of articles that came out that were written very poorly about Jordan, about the kind of guy Jordan was, and, oh, Jordan's this, he's only in it for the fame, and Jordan doesn't care. I remember reading that stuff and being like, this is total bullcrap. Just total bullcrap. I mean, that he is one of the nicest dudes I know. Everybody that knows him, you know, that really, really appreciates being his friend. And I say this because when you know somebody and then you see things that are said about them publicly and you know that they're not true, like, that can be very frustrating. So when I see, like, all this drama that comes up, it's like, to me, that's a reflection of Aaron. That tells me that that's Aaron. And I don't think Aaron would work out very well with Mike Vrabel. I think at the end of the day, Aaron struggles. Like, we all are there. And it's never fun, where you have to make a sacrifice for the betterment of whatever you're doing, whether it's your family, your work, your coworkers. Drew Bledsoe had to make that sacrifice, right? Like, Drew, you're the backup. You guys sit behind Tom, and he did the whole season, didn't say a peep. Tom gets hurt in the AFC Championship game. He goes in there, beats the Steelers. Everybody thinks Bledsoe got his job back. Then it's like, Drew, you're backing up Brady. And you never heard a bad word from Bledsoe. I'm not sure Aaron would have been able to do that. And that's kind of how Vrabel's been raised. Let's say Logan Woodside's the backup quarterback. I don't know anything about Logan Woodside other than watching him in training camp a little bit. Let's say Logan Woodside's the backup quarterback. Aaron Rodgers is the starting quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
And the Titans think that Logan Woodside, for whatever reason, gives them a better chance to win. I'm not sure Aaron would deal very well with that.
No.
And the one thing that we hear all the time is just how great of a guy Ryan Tannehill is. If the reason that the coach is going to be all in on Ryan Tannehill is because of the toughness and the leadership and all that stuff that we don't see, that we don't know, I feel like Aaron's the opposite of it.
Yes.
Aaron's the most talented quarterback in the league.
He's a bad teammate. He's egotistical.
But he's
all
selfish.
about himself.
Yeah, he's selfish.
Yeah.
So do you think Vrabel would shut this down?
No.
Even though they're friends?
No. Shut down the idea of Aaron Rodgers becoming the Titans quarterback?
Right, like if John picks up the phone and goes, you know, David Dunn just called me. That's Aaron's agent.
Mm-hmm.
David Dunn just called me and said that this report is true and he is open to the Titans. Now, we'd have to move X, Y, Z in order to do this, but would you be interested in doing it? Do you think that Vrabel would say, let's do it? Or do you think Vrabel would say, you know, I know Aaron, I like Aaron, but I don't, that kind of guy wouldn't be a good fit for us?
I think he'd be apprehensive, but not out. What did Crispy say? If you have a player that gives your team a better opportunity to win, you do what you can to help your team win. So I think it absolutely would be a concern in Vrabel's mind of, is this guy going to fit with our team culture? But I don't think it would be immediately shut down.
All right, let's go to your phones next. 615-737-1025 is the phone number. 615-737-1025. Plus Joel Corey, CBS, who does a lot of this cap stuff, he says what the Titans cap would look like if they made a move for Rodgers. We'll play that next. And your phone, Stillman and Company. It's ESPN 1025 The Game.
Want the latest on the Predators from the people that cover them?
Heck of a year so far for the Predators. They've been so much fun to watch.
Join Robbie Stanley for Preds Insiders every Monday at 6.
I feel probably as good about this group of 6 on D.
Presented by Dr. Kelly Rice on Smashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
1025 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Furniture has never been easier to buy than now at Social Furniture. All the 2022 sofas, sectionals, and mattresses are arriving daily with the latest styles and colors ready for delivery. All furniture at Social is top quality solid woods and designer fabrics. There's no waiting, and they have same-day delivery for your convenience. Use their financing and pay no money down and pay no interest for 1 full year. Buy local, support Social. Social Furniture on Charlotte Avenue in West Nashville. Social Furniture is a proud supporter of your Nashville Predators.
Get big game ready and score amazing deals at Electronic Express. Bring the action to your living room with 4K TVs from Samsung, LG, Sony, Hisense, TCL, and more. We've also got huge savings in every department: computers and gaming, smart home, housewares, and more. The game wouldn't be complete without the food, so save up to 40% on all appliances with up to 36 months free financing. Electronic Express has what you need to get big game ready. We make it happen.
These few weeks that encompass Valentine's Day are often a time of intimacy, a time for lovers. But erectile dysfunction can put a serious damper on your relationship. This is Kim for the Tennessee Men's Clinic, and if you have ED, you know exactly what I'm talking about. ED hurts relationships by often causing friction and frustration because most couples don't even know why ED is happening. But the truth is that ED is just a disease like any other. And fortunately, it can be effectively treated at the Tennessee Men's Clinic with protocols that have success rates as high as 90%. In fact, the treatments we offer could have you lasting up to an hour. And if you're like many men, you could even have great sex the day after your appointment. So this Valentine's Day, give the one you love something truly special and do something about your ED. Your initial appointment is only $99 and includes blood work and a medical consult. Call 615-208-9090. That's 615-208-9090 or go to TennesseeMen'sClinic.com. Visit our website to learn more, including side effects. Treatments extra. Results vary.
Care has the power to bring kindness where it's needed. It brings out the best in every one of us. It doesn't just see people. It takes time to understand them. It puts the needs of others ahead of its own. And when you start with care, you end up with a very different kind of bank. Truist. Truist Bank, member FDIC.
Cutting the price of your wireless bill feels good. Really good. Actually, it feels great. You should try it out. So cut your bill by switching to Straight Talk Wireless, now offering our $45 Silver Unlimited plan with 5 gigabytes of hotspot and nationwide 5G on America's largest, most dependable networks. The $45 Silver Unlimited plan from Straight Talk. Straight Talk Wireless. No contract, no compromise.
A month equals 30 days. See terms and conditions at straighttalk.com. 5G capable device required. Actual availability, coverage, and speed may vary.
Sunday.
Green flag and the Busch Clash is underway.
The NASCAR season is here as the best drivers in the Cup Series tackle the LA Coliseum for the first time in the Busch Clash. Coverage begins at 1:30
on ESPN
1025 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Hey Nashville, this is Paul Feinbaum and you're listening to Nashville's best sports talk, ESPN 1025 The Game.
If you wanted to bring in a Russell Wilson who would have to waive his no-trade clause, or an Aaron Rodgers who apparently is buying land in Williamson County, you'd have to have the other team want Tannehill back in return at that number. And then even if you brought those guys in initially, you need enough cap space to accommodate their salaries. It's $24 million for Wilson, and it's just in the cap space you need for Aaron Rodgers is basically $27.5. So if you're just doing the simple math on that, you're losing 15.3 of cap space to add Rodgers, and then you're losing 13.8 if you're going to add Russell Wilson. Once you got him there, you could restructure the contract, and both these guys, particularly Rodgers, since he's in a contract year, would want a new deal. You wouldn't be giving up significant assets for either one of them. And if I'm those two teams, I want 3 first-round picks for either one of those guys, or at least I'm starting at that point.
There you go. That's Joel Corey, CBS Sports, talking about, hey, this is how much the cap space will cost in order to move Aaron Rodgers. I think people hear that, and they think to themselves, oh, that's too complicated. There's no way that the Titans could do that. And I'll just say this. Have you ever played craps before?
No, I haven't.
Have you ever been in a casino before?
Yes.
Have you ever seen craps before?
Yes, I know what craps is.
Do you think it's a hard game to understand?
No.
So this is what I always tell people, because people are intimidated because they don't understand craps. Because the dice comes out, and then you hear guys, let me get a high-low, yo, let me get 32 on the inside, let me get like all this kind of stuff. And it's like, what does that mean? And then the dice rolls, and then they pay out certain things, and then they don't pay out certain things. You're like, wait a minute, that 6 came, and that guy got paid, and that guy, but nobody else got paid. I don't understand how this works. And I would say just look at the people at a craps table, and you'll realize it's not a difficult game to figure out. That's how I feel like the salary cap works, which is it's really not all that complicated. He just told you what it would be. Basically, that if you were to trade Tannehill, the dead cap charge would be $28 million. Then this is Rodgers' salary, and then you'd have to restructure or redo Rodgers' contract, which would lower the number for this year. So it's really not that hard. As much as people are going to make it out to be that it's incredibly hard, it's really not that hard. You just convert Rodgers' salary this year, and I don't know what it is. I think it's like $26 million or something. You convert that to a bonus. You give him a 4-year deal, and you figure it out. I mean, so I don't get too worked up in the salary cap stuff, but I was listening to the Midday Show, and they were like, oh, no, it's too hard. This is too much. It's too, and, you know, Crazy Jared's going to have his trade Kevin Byard theory. And I'm not, look, if trading Byard allowed me to upgrade from Tannehill to Aaron Rodgers, like, I love Byard, but I'll go pack for him. Like, we're talking about Aaron Rodgers. And we're talking about Ryan Tannehill.
Like, it's really not that difficult of a concept to grasp.
No, it is
one is better than the other.
No, it's not. Let's go to your phones. 615-737-1025. By the way, I love this. So News 2 has a Corey Curtis, and they do a Sports Extra Daily show on Twitter.
Yeah.
And it says... join, Corey retweeted this, and I will bust his chops about this tomorrow. Make no mistake. Join Kayla Anderson and Corey Curtis to discuss the Titans at the Pro Bowl and ... yes ... Aaron Rodgers talk. Like, Corey, just give the people what they want.
Give them the tea.
They want to talk
Everyone
Aaron
wants
Rodgers.
a tea party.
That's what they want. Phone lines are driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. Daryl is going to kick us off this hour. Thank you for calling. Go ahead, Daryl.
Can you hear me okay, Jared?
Got you. Go ahead.
Listen, it's a no-brainer. We can talk cap space. We can talk money. First of all, Rodgers, at this point in his career, he's not playing for money, okay? He's playing for championships. The Titans are a quarterback away from a championship, okay? Ryan Tannehill, good guy, average quarterback, but he's no Aaron Rodgers, okay? The bottom line is, if the Titans are serious about winning, they would do this in a heartbeat. Okay, because these guys, like I said, Aaron is not playing at this point in his career for money. Okay, the window is closing, but I guarantee you, if we sign Aaron Rodgers, Tennessee would get at least 2 championships out of it.
Oh my God, Daryl, don't tease me like that. Thank you for your call. I can't go there. That like Rodgers equals championship, because a couple of factors at play, which might actually be a pretty good topic for tomorrow as I try to stretch another day out of this. Like, number one. Not that I hate anointing people too early. Joe Burrow might be like the next like Tom Brady.
He's that dude.
I don't think he is, because Tom Brady's such a high bar.
But you can be an incredibly accomplished quarterback without being, quote unquote, the next Tom Brady. I don't think that's necessarily fair.
Mahomes and Burrow have one thing going for them that they can technically say matches with Brady. Mahomes has started for 4 years. He's been to 2 Super Bowls. Burrow has started for 2 years. He's been to 1 Super Bowl. Brady started for 20 years, and he went to 10 Super Bowls. So for half the time that they were in the league, that they've been to the Super Bowl. Now, that being said, again, going to 1 Super Bowl your second year is a lot different than going to 10
across 20 years. Yes.
Yes, going to more than any other team combined,
which is insane.
So, like, that could be a reason why they wouldn't win the championship, because Joe Burrow, Cincinnati is here to stay for forever. He's the next Peyton, and they're going to be at the top, and Rodgers gets beat. The second reason, and this is the more important reason why I don't think you can guarantee 2 championships with the addition of an Aaron Rodgers, is simply because at the end of the day, Rodgers has stumbled in the playoffs a lot in his career. Not to say that I wouldn't trust Rodgers to win that Cincinnati game for me that they played where Tannehill threw the ball away 3 times, but it's almost like you still need to see Aaron hoist the trophy again for the first time in a decade before you will believe that Aaron is for sure going to do it. With Brady, I can tell you, if Brady was quarterback of the Titans for the last 2 years, I do think the Titans would have a championship. I think it would have been this year, this championship.
Well, I mean, it was all the road was paved very much easily for the Titans.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I mean, and we also brought up the fact yesterday, but the Packers were in the same situation the Titans were this year. Number 1 seed in the NFC, got bounced in the divisional round.
Crummy Jimmy Garoppolo.
So no, Aaron Rodgers doesn't automatically equal Super Bowl. And no, Aaron Rodgers doesn't automatically mean playoff success. It just means it's an upgrade from the quarterback that you have.
What do you make about it's a no-brainer because of the talent? Because as we talked about Vrabel and his relationship with Rodgers, and whether or not Vrabel would be like, no, Aaron's too selfish, there's a part of me that thinks that Vrabel knows Aaron's kind of a chotch, but at the same time, Vrabel would say, dude, it's Aaron Rodgers.
And what did Mike Vrabel say he would do for a Super Bowl?
He said he would cut off his wee-wee.
And then taking Aaron Rodgers is a lot easier to do than that. A lot less drastic than that.
What if Aaron's like, I'll do it, but you actually have to follow through with that?
Huh. If they do win the Super Bowl, that is a very fair question to ask.
Do you think Aaron would hold that to him? Like, hold him to that?
If there's anyone in the world that would hold him to that, it would be Aaron Rodgers.
Source speculates whether... No.
No. But, obviously Mike Vrabel wants a Super Bowl very badly. I mean, is he willing to completely change the culture of the team to do that? Seems like he would be.
I don't think he would.
What did he say he would do, though?
Here's what I don't know. Is it in the best interest of the Titans to move on from Ryan Tannehill to go get Aaron Rodgers?
That's the question. But is it? Do they see it like that? Is it in the best interest of this team organization culture that we have built up?
I think it is.
It's in the best interest of the success of
my
the team.
reason for this and their reason for this are probably 2 different things. Yeah. And I don't know what they mean by this best interest of the team. Because
does that mean winning a Super Bowl, or does that mean making sure that everyone is buddy-buddy in the locker room?
Well, how many Sunday night football games? We went over the schedule next year where you play Cincinnati at home, you go to Kansas City, you go to Buffalo, you go to
Dallas.
Green Bay, you play Dallas. I mean, that's
4 or 5.
That's 4 Sunday night games.
Yeah.
Like, you are on primetime TV 4 times. If you win a Super Bowl with Aaron Rodgers, you are talking about generational fans that will always point to this. I mean, at some point, when do those things become an element of what's in the best interest of the franchise is, hey, trying to put something together that will cement you? Because the Titans really don't have that. Like, yeah, we in Nashville have the Steve McNair and Eddie George era, but we don't really have, like, where the country fell in love with the Tennessee Titans. And I'm not saying Aaron would do that because Aaron's kind of a villain. But you're talking about national TV.
It's attention.
Right.
It's publicity.
And publicity isn't always in the best interest of the team. But we clearly know this is an upgrade at quarterback.
And it's buzz.
But it's like generational buzz.
Yeah.
Like, this is your one crack at it.
It's like, do you know how many kids would have Aaron Rodgers Titans jerseys?
Oh, God. We saw the Julio stuff.
Oh, yeah. There were so many Julio jerseys.
And nobody cares about the Julio stuff. Like, now, because he stinks. Or I shouldn't say stinks. Because he was hurt and didn't do anything. It might stink.
He might.
He might.
There's
in fairness to Julio,
chance.
Tannehill was, like, trying to get him sent to the hospital in the playoff game. Throwing the ball behind him with a DB right there ready to hit him.
Getting smacked in the
Just
face.
Killed him. I mean, I was feeling bad for Julio in that one. 615-737-1025. More of your phones to wrap up. Plus, remember when TD was like, for my industry, I'm not sure that this is like the most important thing. But for
Sports
talk radio, this is. I have a thought of that, and it's not about TD, but it's about TD's people.
Okay.
I'll explain that next. Tillman and Company. It's ESPN 102.5 The Game.
From Fox 17 News, this is a Code Red Weather Alert.
I'm Fox 17 meteorologist Greg Bobus. Temperatures falling going into tonight, allowing many of our rainy patches to potentially switch over to on and off freezing rain. Waking up Friday morning to icy areas, especially on secondary roads, as temps go below freezing.
This weather report brought to you by Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical.
Call the Happy Face Truck today.
Nashville's best deal of the week is the Mainstay Bar and Grill in East Nashville. The Mainstay is located at 501 Main Street and is your local spot to enjoy all your sports along with great food and friends. With over 25 TVs, 20 taps, and nightly events like trivia and much more, you can't go wrong. The Mainstay Bar and Grill. Good drinks, good people, good times. Head to thegamenashville.com/deals now to get half off a $30 gift card to the Mainstay while supplies last.
If you suffer from chronic joint pain, don't assume that steroid shots, pain pills, and surgery are your only options. You can call now to get real, lasting, life-changing relief from QC Kinetics. QC Kinetics is the nation's leader in using biologic therapies to repair damaged tissue in your aching joints. The success rate is staggering. People with knee and back pain, shoulder pain, hip pain, they're moving again, enjoying life again with help from QC Kinetics. This advanced, unique treatment protocol uses natural biologic agents, mostly from your own body. These powerful, highly concentrated growth factors are put directly into your affected joint, going to work to soothe the inflammation and restore damaged tissue. A truly regenerative treatment. No surgery, no drugs, no downtime. Finally, a new, different, highly successful approach to dealing with joint pain. Is it time you got a second opinion? Call the local medical professionals at QC Kinetics now. 615-249-4024. 615-249-4024. That's 615-249-4024 for QC Kinetics.
Attorney Joe Cordell.
New school, new job, new home. Change is hard and can leave you feeling isolated. And divorce delivers one of life's hardest blows. The relationships you counted on are suddenly gone. But you don't have to walk through this alone. For more than 30 years, Cordell & Cordell has guided men through the challenges of divorce. You're not alone. Call Cordell & Cordell.
Schedule an appointment with one of Cordell & Cordell's Nashville area attorneys. 810 Crescent Center Drive, Suite 160, Franklin, Tennessee, 37067.
This is Dan. Dan uses Navy Federal Credit Union to save and invest. Luckily for him, Navy Federal takes the legwork out of managing his money, which gives Dan time to work on other things, like his new auctioneering hobby. If you want to be like Dan, learn about our savings and investment options at NavyFederal.org/save and invest. Navy Federal Credit Union. Our members are the mission.
Bidder number 63.
Savings products insured by NCUA. Investment options are available through Navy Federal Investment Services and are not insured by NCUA.
Credibility. Look at me. Relatability.
False start. 5-yard penalty.
And very little athletic ability.
You got to open up the playbook.
Darren McFarland, Willie Donick, and Chase McCabe are Darren, Donick, and Chase. Weekdays from 10 to 2. Presented by Curacion CBD on Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app. Watch live on Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube.
This is Stillman and Company, delivered by TriStar Moving.
And you're saying there's no reason for us to look into that any deeper or anybody else to wonder or speculate on his football?
No, you could. You should. You should jump into it. Yeah.
I'm not doing that. I'm just saying, people, you don't think that house is necessarily or property is raw land, whatever that means.
Thank you.
You don't think that raw land is any indication of what his football career is going to be?
If Aaron has any land down in Nashville, I don't think he got the land with any intention of thinking about football. It has nothing to do with football, I believe, if he has anything to
Please put that on
football.
Please put that on the ticker.
Okay.
Thank you, AJ.
Thank you.
So is he building an immunized center then, or?
Well, we don't
that
know
doesn't
anything.
mean it can't, though. That doesn't mean all of a sudden, say he goes down there, he's like, oh, this is cool. I like Nashville. Live music. Hey, Braves, why don't you call the pack, work out a trade for me? That could happen.
So hold on. Put that on the ticker as well, although it is raw land, whatever that means.
But then, actually, I think he might retire, too. So put that on the ticker as well.
What do you know? You don't know anything except for a little bit, and we got to kind of piece together about what
I don't
you
even
do
know a little bit. No, I don't know.
No, you do. You
No,
just said
yeah.
raw land. You
He
just
bought
said
raw land.
I don't jump at dumb stories where people think like they put him in locations instantly. Like, oh, here it is. This is happening.
Here you go. AJ Hawk on the McAfee Show.
What do you know
Dumb
other than a little bit?
stories, other than the one that you practically confirmed for us.
Yeah.
That it's dumb story. That one way or another. By the way, Mike and Nancy, who are my neighbors in my old home.
Mike and Nancy, yes, thank you very much.
They, I believe, are septuagenarians. Though I don't want to put their, life on blast. Like when they text me, for some reason they send me an email. So it's an email, but it's a text message. So it is their phone number to my email address, my work email address that I don't even use.
They're probably emailing you via the text app.
No, they're like the message, and then it's like to that.
Yeah.
And they have sent me, are the Titans working to get a deal done with Aaron Rodgers, Mike and Nancy? And it's like, that's how, this is
That's
gone.
so pure.
Like, a buddy of mine from college, I don't even have TikTok. And a buddy of mine from college sent me and is like, I'm just scrolling around TikTok, and there's this thing that's like, is Aaron Rodgers going to the Packers? Here's what Nashville radio host Jared Stillman said.
No way.
And it was the video of yesterday's show from the stream.
No way.
So
It didn't come up on my TikTok.
I do want to
Doesn't
get
know me very well.
I do want to get to your texts here in a second, but ESPN's NFL Nation writers did a simulation of where all the quarterback carousel for this year, and it's like, where will Aaron Rodgers end up? So they let each of these guys make an offer for Rodgers, and then they pick which one they like best. So Denver, for example, offers the 9th overall pick this year, their first rounder next year, their second rounder this year, their third rounder this year, and any wide receiver or tight end from the current Denver roster for Rodgers.
Because they're probably assuming that Devontae Adams is coming with him.
Ure. My guess would be you would take Jerry Jeudy.
Probably so.
Maybe Noah Fant,
Youngest
but
guy.
I would take Jerry Jeudy.
Yeah.
The Packers guy, Rob Demovsky, nice guy, by the way. Rob Demovsky says, no deal. Would not make that deal if he were the Packers.
2 firsts, a
Two
second,
firsts,
a
a
third.
second, a third, and Jerry Jeudy.
A player of your liking. Damn.
Rob Demovsky
Damn.
says, quote, again in ESPN, the Packers simply aren't ready to move on from Rodgers, who provides Green Bay with the best chance to get back to a Super Bowl. Unless Rodgers says he wants out now, we're not trading him. Call back in a month or so, and perhaps we can talk after we've given Aaron some time to think about what he wants to do. Of course he wants out.
He's wanted out. I don't know why this is some sort of breaking news.
There's this pretend game going on that Aaron or Russell might not want out. Now, I think that this was written before I reported that Aaron's Green Bay teammates are like, yeah, he's not coming back.
But don't they already know that? That wasn't new yesterday.
No. Russell gave a list of teams. Russell didn't demand a trade, but Russell gave a list of 4 teams where he'd want to go to. He wants out. Russell said, I don't know if this is going to be my final game here in Seattle, but I know it won't be my last game in the NFL. He wants out. Don't, come on. And it's not, they just don't want to make it personal. Although Aaron has made it personal.
Well,
but he wants out.
Par for the course.
What do we have in the text line?
One texter texts in and asks, who would you rather have between Aaron Rodgers and Russell Wilson?
Oh, I thought you were going to say between Aaron Rodgers and Tannehill.
I think we've made that pretty clear what your decision is there.
So I would go with Russell.
Okay.
I think Russell gives you more time because I think he's younger.
Mm-hmm.
I think Russell is a better teammate.
Mm-hmm.
I think Russell is more athletic, obviously, at this point in his career, though. Aaron is sneakily athletic.
Yeah.
But it's hard because I do think Aaron's the better player. I just don't like Aaron the guy.
It's hard because Aaron is the better player, but I could see Russell Wilson fitting in that locker room so well.
Okay, so TD says that Dan Graziano picked the trades.
Okay.
Which I should note. That's what I meant when I teased the last segment and I said TD's people, the ESPN NFL Nation reporters.
Yes.
But, I mean, I think it's a pretty good offer, right?
2 firsts, a second, a third.
And this is the 9th overall pick.
Right. This isn't some 30 pick.
Scrub pick.
No. 2 firsts, a second, a third, and a player of their liking, correct?
I guess. So, I do wonder some clarification from TD on this because, again, this is, they only get one offer from the Broncos, and Jeff Legwold writes a little breakdown from Jeff Legwold underneath what the Broncos offer, and then Rob Demovsky says no decision, and then he says that Dan Graziano picked the trades. So did Graziano, is he the one who decides no deal, or I don't know?
And they may say no deal because there's no quarterback in return.
I do think the one thing I will say, as much as we dump on Tannehill on this show, is the fact that Tannehill's better than all the other options, it feels like. Like if you're Seattle and you trade Russell, he's better than if you were to make a trade with Carolina and get Sam Darnold in return.
And getting Teddy Bridgewater in return is not a bad deal, but are they offering up Teddy Bridgewater in that deal?
I think he's a free agent.
Okay, so there you
he
go.
and Drew Lock, I think, are both free agents.
There you go. I think that's maybe what Green Bay is looking for is a replacement at quarterback.
Well, here's the thing. If you get Tannehill, right, in a deal for Rodgers, Tannehill can either be your starter if you don't believe in Jordan Love, or he can be the veteran backup behind Jordan Love that Jordan Love needs as support, or you can have just a straight-up quarterback battle and make Jordan Love. I don't know. It'll really tell you. It'll really tell you how they feel about Jordan Love if they take on Tannehill.
And if they start Tannehill.
Right. Oh, yeah. Then they really don't like Jordan Love.
Right.
Yeah. What else we got?
Another texter texts into the text line and says, in terms of Aaron Rodgers, Ryan Tannehill, Russell Wilson, what would be the best financially in terms of the Titans?
Okay. Probably Aaron. So we're taking the picks out of this, right? Like the picks and whatever you'd have to trade.
Yeah.
So it's just the money. So Aaron's salary, I believe, is less than Tannehill's salary this year.
Tannehill would be the most expensive of the three, if I'm not mistaken.
Tannehill's 38, but then you have to factor in the 28 dead cap charge. The thing is you can restructure both of those guys' contracts. Like you can redo Russell, you can redo Aaron. Russell will want an extension. So you're going to have to extend Russell Wilson. And this goes back to the owner picking up the phone and saying, seeing this, because what is it? It's like on Fox News is our report about Aaron Rodgers. So if Amy Adams, I've told you, Amy Adams Strunk's seen it, the Titans have seen it, Aaron's seen it, like they all have seen it. If, let's say Amy picks up the phone, calls John Robinson, says, I want him. Imagine her channeling her inner Jerry Jones, right? Like, I want him, I want him, I want him. But Dad, that doesn't make it, I want him, like that. Jerry Jones style.
Yes.
Now, part of the thing John's going to say is like, look, if we have to extend Russell Wilson or we have to extend Aaron Rodgers, it's going to cost us in cash like $45 million a season. Like, are you prepared for that? And then, owners, when it comes to cash, now the Titans, I think, were 6th in the NFL in cash spent, which is pretty good.
Yeah.
But I could see the Titans being like, no, we're not.
That's a lot
of money. That's a big ask. What else we got?
One texter texts in and says, I feel like if the Titans roll Tannehill out there again and come up disappointingly short again, fall back into mediocrity again and waste the prime of some of their best players, they risk losing some of the built-up fan base they've achieved over the last few years.
I got to tell you guys, I know we talked to TD about, I think the Cincinnati game has driven me crazy.
It has.
It's like the Senior Bowl is this week.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care. And it's not that I shouldn't. It's not that I shouldn't care. I should care. Like, they need tight ends. Let's watch the tight ends. They need offensive linemen. Let's watch them. And if Floyd was still here, he'd be glued to the television watching these Senior Bowl practices. And I don't care. I can't get myself energized to talk about D tackles that they could take in the draft when it's like, but the Bengals are playing in your Super Bowl. What are you going to do about quarterback? I don't know. I'm having a hard time getting there. I'm having a hard time playing these cap games about, sign this guy, cut this guy, do this, do that one, do that.
Those are bigger questions than tight end. Because while that's an important position, and that's what we've seen throughout this entire season, that Tannehill was desperately missing a tight end, those are bigger questions to me.
Oh, it's so frustrating.
Someone says, okay, Mr. Jared Smarty Pants, what happens when Tannehill goes to Green Bay or Seattle and either of those teams wins the Super Bowl with him next year?
Oh, boy, I'll tell you what. I would do an entire show outside of Bridgestone Arena in the cold. Here you go.
All right.
If Ryan Tannehill wins the Super Bowl with another team other than the Titans, I will do the show outside of Bridgestone Arena on the plaza for everybody to see in the cold in nothing but like a women's G-string.
That is disgusting.
That is how sure I am that will not happen. And that's only like in this window that he could be quarterback of the Titans. If he goes somewhere else in like 3 years and wins a Super Bowl because they have an incredible team, like the Miami Hurricanes of the 2000s.
No, don't walk back on this.
No.
No, you've committed yourself to
qualifying
this. It is in writing.
The 6 with Elijah Campbell and Michelle Knezovic is next. I got to believe, Ian, they're going to be talking about Aaron Rodgers.
I believe mostly some college hoops.
Oh. Okay. All right, we'll be back tomorrow at 2.